There's so much in the moment. In this moment, this is something, and I can go on enjoying thinking of the Buddha. And there are levels of certain energy you can generate in your mind if you can go into the Buddha. As we think is a statue or something, it's okay. What we think, it becomes. So, I hope all of you will have peace of mind. And මොන භාෂාවෙන් දන්නේ කැමති මන් දන්නේ මේකට ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් ලේසි වෙනවා දැන්. මෙයා මහත්තයන් කිය සිංහලෙන් කියන්නේ කියලා. මේ මහත්තයා ලොකු හොඳ වැඩක් කරලා තියෙනවා. Beyond sight නේ මොකද්ද beyond sight. මේ වගේ මට එක මහත්තයෙක් හිටියා නම් ඇති ඔය වගේ ලංකාවේ. ඔව් ඒ ඩිස්කෝස් එක ඒක හරිම අර්ථයක් දීලා තමයි දුන්නේ. හරියටම හරි. මේ කවුරුත් ඒක දන්නේ දැන් මේක ප්ලේස් කරන්න තියෙන ඒ ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එකේ තමයි හැම බණක් ආවෙත් ඊට පස්සේ. ඒ කට්ටියගේ අනුව මම දන්නේ මම ප්ලෑන් කරන්නේ ඒක අර මේ කක්කාරි මට තේරෙන්නේ මේ අර ඒ අවස්ථාව අනුව එදා ගොඩක් නිවන පැත්තට බර වෙවි දේශනාව ගියා. ඉතින් නැත්තම් මම හැම වෙලේම නිවනට බාධා කරන ඒවා කිය තමයි ගොඩක් ඊට පස්සේ නිවනත් කියනවා නැත්තේ නෑ හැමදාම ඒ අරකේ මේන් වෙලාවම මගේ මයින්ඩ් එකත් ඒ පැත්තට මම ආසයි එතනට එන්න. හැබැයි ආස වුණාට ඒ අවස්ථාව ඒ තියෙන මේක අනුව මට නිකන් එන සිතුවිල්ලත් අනුව ඉතින් ගොඩක් අය මාව අනිත් තැන්වල හම්බෙච්ච අය නේද මේ. දැන් ඕස්ට්‍රේලියාව වගේ වෙනවා. කට්ටිය මෙහෙම ඉතින් කවන්නේ අවස්ථාවේනේ. ඒ අවස්ථාව ආයේ ධර්ම අබින්න එක ඔලුවට දාගත්තොත් සමහරට යම් වෙනසක් වෙන්නත් ඉඩ තියෙනව නැත්te නේ. මුළු ජීවිතේම මටත් මෙයා වෙනස් වුණේ ගොඩක් අය හම්බෙලා නෙමෙයි එක ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේ කෙනෙක්. හැබැයි ඒකට පින්වතුන්ලාගේ දැන් මට තේරෙනවා මේක එහෙම වෙනස් වෙන්න ඒ කියන්නේ අපේ පැත්තෙන් උත් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒක එහෙම සම්බන්ධ වෙලා තමයි අර මේ මොකද්ද අර බාහිරෙන් එන්නේ. ඇතුලෙන් ඌමනාව අනුව තමයි බාහිරෙන් එන්නේ. හරි පුදුමයි. අද මට මහත්තයෙක් හම්බුණා මෙතන යාට මහාන වෙන්න කැමති. ඉතින් ඒ බබා සද්ද කරලා කමන්නේ මෙහාට ගේන්න පුළුවන් පව්. ඒ කියන්නේ සද්ද ඇහුණාට කමන්නේ. මම වෙලෙන් බනට කියනවා නිශ්ශබ්ද ඕන දෙයට ඇලීම තමයි ගැටීමක් වෙන්නේ. මම මෙතන කියලා දෙන්නත් යන්නේ ඒකයි ගොඩක් විට. දැන් හාමුදුරන්ගේ බණ අහන්න ඕන කියලා තදින් ඇලීමක් තිබ්බොත් මොනවා හරි ශබ්දයක් ආවොත් කියයි එළියට ගෙනියන්න බැරි මොකක් හරි නෑ. මේක තමයි දැන් වැස්සේදී දැන් මේ මහත්තුරුට එක එක එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් වෙනවා සමහරට. වැස්සාවතින් කොහොමද පින්ඩපාතේ මම බලාගෙන ඉන්න වැස්ස එනකල් මට එතකොට යම් බණක් ඒ වෙලාවේ දෙන්න පුළුවන්. අපි මේ යථාර්ථයෙන් මිදෙන්න යන්නේ නෑ පින්වතුනි. ඒ මිදෙන්න යන්නේකින් තමන් දන්නේම නැතුව මොකද ඒ පාඩමකින් කට්ටි පනිනවා වගේ. අර පිස්සර පොඩි කාලේ කියන්නේ කට්ටි පනිනවා මොකද ඉස්කෝලේ මිස් කරනවා වගේ. එහෙම මිස් කරන්න ගියොතින් තමන්ට මේකේ මොනවාද මේ ඒ අවස්ථාව එන්නේ හිත දියුණු කරගන්න. ඉතින් අද අර වාහනේන මහත්තයා ඉතින් දැන් මට ඒක සේම් රූටින් එකෙන් එන්න බලනවා. හාමුදුරනේ පොඩි කරුණු ටිකක් ඇවට කමක් නැද්ද? අද නම් මම මහත්තයාට කිව්වා මහත්තයෝ මේක මට තිනාත් ගියා මොකද දැන් ඒක සේම් රූටින්. එයා අර තනියම දැන් කාර් එක යන වෙලාවේ ඔක්කොම පව් හොඳ කට්ටිය ඒගොල්ලන් ධර්ම ඉක්මනට ගන්න යන ආසාවෙන් ඉන්න කට්ටියක් හොඳ කට්ටියක්. ඇත්තට මේ පින්වතුන්ලා ඒ කණ්ඩායමක් හිටියේ නැත්තම් මට මේ ගමන මට තේරෙනවා ලේසි නෑ ගෙනියන්න බෑ. ඒක අහසේ පොළොවේ දෙගොල්ලගෙම දෙපැත්තකම මේ කට්ටියක් නැත්තම් ඒ සද්ධාව තියෙන ඒ ගුණ වඩාගෙන මොකද සමාකලට මේක ටිකක් පොඩි විප්ලවයක් වගේ. ඒ යම් පරිවර්තනයක් ඒ මොකද මට තේරෙනවා ඒක යම් පුණ්‍ය බලයක් ඒ ශක්තියක් නැත්තම් අර මේක කාගෙන යන්න මොකද ඒක ඉතින් ආందోලනයක් ඇති කරනවනේ දැන් චුට්ට ආందోලනයක් තාම නැහැ. කල්යද්දි ටිකක් ඒක මේ ඉතින් මාරගේ පැත්තට වැටෙන දේවල් එන්න පුළුවන්. අර පැත්තට වැටෙන කරුණාව, දයාව ඒව තියෙන පැත්තෙන් එන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ පැත්තට බර වෙලා තිබ්බොත් මේක යනවා. අනිත් පැත්තට බර වුණාම විනාශ කරන්න. ඉතින් මේවා අපි දකින්නේ අපේ පාරමිතා තියෙනකල් තමයි මේ කටයුත්ත. ඒක ඉතින් හැම වෙලේම ගුණයක් තියලා ඒ මොන හරි ආවත් ගුණයක් තියලා මේ පොළවේ යන්න ඕනේ. මේ පොළවෙන් නික්ම වෙන්න ඕනේ. කොටතර සදහට කට්ටයට මොන හේතුවකටවත් ද්වේෂයක් මේකක් එන්න දෙන්නේ නැතුව කිසිම හේතුවකට. ඒ කියන්නේ පෙති ගහලා දැම්මත් මෙයා වුණත් තමන් නිවනට තියලා මම කියලා ගන්නෙ නැතුව කිසිම විදියකින් සාධාරණය කරන්නේ නැතුව කාගවත් වැරදියක් හිතෙන්නවත් කල්පනා වෙන්නවත්. ඉතින් ওই පැත්ත අපි කරොත් තමයි බුදු සසුනට චෛත්‍යවල හදලා ගොඩාක් මහා විහාර හදලා නෙමෙයි පින්වතුනි. මේක තමයි චෛත්‍ය අපේ ගුණයක් මතු කරගත්තොත්. ඉතින් කොහොම හරි මම මේ මහත්තයා මේ කවුද මේ මහත්තයා ඇහුවා මගෙන් ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේ මට දැන් මං බහන වෙන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. ඉතින් ආර්ථික පැත්තෙන් ගැටලුවක් නැහැ. ළමයි දෙන්නෙක් ඉන්නවා. ඒගොල්ලන්වත් ටිකක් මේවා කරලා තමයි කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා කිව්වා. ඉතින් මේ මහත්තයා දැන් මහත් විතර නේ මම දකිනවා ගොඩක් අය අදහස හිතනවා මේ දැන් මහාන වෙලා කියන්නේ දැන් ඒගොල්ලන් හිතනවා දැන් තව ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එකක් කරනවාකෝ අවුරුදු තව 10කටද 5කටද. ඒ ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එකෙන් පස්සේ තවත් ඒක තමයි හොඳටම නිදහස් වෙලා යන්න පුළුවන් කියලා කිව්වේ. ඉතින් හාමුදුරුවෝ මොකද්ද මේ ගැන කියන්නේ කියලා. ඉතින් මම දන්න විදියට පින්වතුනි ඒ කියන්නේ බාහිරින් සෙටල්මන්ට් එකක් කරලා ඒ කියන්නේ මේක අභ්‍යන්තර දෙයක්. තමන්ගේ අභ්‍යන්තරයේ යම් විදියකින් මහානකම කරන්න ඕනේ මේ දැන් මේ ඉන්න වෙලාවේ. ඒ කියන්නේ මහාන මනස වඩන්න ඕනේ. තමන්ට ඉන්න බැරි නෝන කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවනේ එක්ක එපා වෙච්ච මහත්තයෙක් ඉන්නවනේ එක්ක මොන හරි වටපිට ඒක නැති වෙන්න ඕනේ හිතෙන්. තමන්ට ඉන්න දරන්න බැරි දෙයක් තමන්ට ඒ කියන්නේ වැඩ කරන රස්සාව වෙන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් එපා වෙලා තියෙන රස්සාව ගානක් නැතුව යන ප්‍රැක්ටිස් එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් රස්සාවට වාහන වලින් යන්න වෙන්න පුළුවන් මහන්සියලා හැබැයි යන ගමන් හිතේ සාන්තිය තියලා ඒ ලෝකේ අරින්න ඕනේ. මම ඒකට දැන් අර ගොඩාක් කියුණා. ඒ කියන්නේ අර මයින්ඩ් එකේ මොලේ රෙස්ට් වෙන, තැම්පත් වෙන, සනීපයක් වෙන පැත්ත අවදි කරන්න ඕනේ. මේක අපේ කරන අඩුයි. දැන් අද මාව බස් මහත්තයා ඉන්නවද කෝ? යා ගියාද? හෙට එනවා කෝ ලිවර්පූල්ද කොහේ? හරි. ඔව් දැන් මේ මහත්තයා try කරානේ දැන් අදත් ඒ කියන්නේ මට තේරෙනවා යා ඒ රිලැක්ස් වෙන පැත්තට ඇඟ හරව ගියා. දැන් මට ඒක ලොකු සතුටක් මේ මං ගත්ත මහන්සියට මේවට කියනවා පොඩ කියන ඉරියාපතේ කියලා. මේ පොඩි ටෙක්නික්ස් ඒ කියන්නේ සමාධියට එන පැත්ත. මේ සමාධියට එන පැත්ත තමයි එහෙම ගියොත් ස්ට්‍රෙස් එන්නේ නැහැ පින්වතුනි. දී සමාධියක් කොච්චරම ඕනෙත් නැහැ. අපිට සමාධියක් වගේ මහන්සි නැතුව එළවනකොට සමාධියට වැටුණොත් ඇක්සිඩන්ට් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි කොහොම හරි අරම හරි ස්ට්‍රෙස් එකක් නැතුව යන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඒ තරමට හරි දේ කරලා තිනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ වර්තමාන මොහොතට attention එක දදා ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. තියා දන්නවා යට අර අහලා තියෙනවා මේ මහත්තයට අර ස්ටියරින් වීල් එක අල්ලන් ඉන්න හැටි ෆීල් වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ ඊට පස්සේ ඉඳන් ඉන්න හැටි. ඉඳන් ඉන්න මේ මොනවාද මේ සීට් එක එහෙම. ඇඟ ගැන බලලා ඇඟට සනීපයක් එන පැත්තට ඉඳගෙන යන්න ඕනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ එහෙම ඒ මොහොත හොඳට ෆීල් වෙනකොට ඒ මොහොතේම ටිකක් ඉන්නකොට පින්වතුනි ඒක කමටහනක් වෙනවා. ආනාපාන සතියට යන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා ඔතන ආනාපාන සතිය වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ ස්ටියරින් වීල් එක ඒ කරන වැඩේ. ඒතර කරන වැඩේ තවත් හොඳට කරනවා. අරව දාන්නේ නැහැ. දැන් මොන හරි දැන් හදිස්සිය මට ටිකක් මතක් කරන් හිතුවද යන ගමන් කේක් අයට බනින්න දැන් ඕක එක ස්ටෙප් එක. අනිත් එක තමයි එක තිතුලේ එන්න පුළුවන්. මොකද අපේ සිත තාම ලෙඩ පින්වතුනි. ලෙඩ හින්දා එන්න පුළුවන් කවුරු හරි වැරදි කරපු ඒවා එන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි මේවා මම අර පස්සේ තේරුම් කරා මේ ඇතුලේ තියෙන එක තමයි එළියෙන් රිෆ්ලෙක්ට් වෙන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ අපේ ගතිය තමයි එළියෙන් මතුවලා එන්නේ පින්වතුනි. කේන්ති යන ගතිය හරි දැන් අර කවුරු හරි මොන හරි එයාගේ අඩුපාඩුවක් ඉතින් අර යන ගමන් හිතෙන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි දකින්න ඕනේ මට මේම හිතෙන්න මගේ හිත ලෙඩයි කියලා. එතකොට මේ ලෙඩ සිත කා කෙරෙහිවත් මට සිතුවිල්ලකින්වත් මෙහෙම වෙනසක් කරන්න බෑ. මේක මන්ට වැරදි තැන ගිය තැනක්. ඉතින් මම මේ ලෙඩේ නැති කරගන්න ඕනේ පොඩ්ඩක් මේ මස් කැල්ලක් තියෙන්නේ. මේ ඇතුලේ තියෙන ද්වේෂය අනුසය තියෙන ස්වභාවය තමයි මේ සිතුවිලි වලින් මේවා කරන්න කියලා. මම දැන් ඒක මම කර කර ආවා. ඒකයි මම කිව්වේ. මට පොඩි දෙයක් ආවා. ඉතින් එක වෙලා එක තැනකදී මේ මොකද මේ ප්‍රැක්ටිසස් වෙන්න ඕනේ පින්වතුනි. මොකද අපි මේ සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම හිත සුවපත් පිරිසුදු වෙවි යනකොට ඒකට තමයි නියම සතුට එන්නේ. ඇතුලෙන් සතුට එන්නේ. නැත්තම් අපේ ඇතුලේ සතුටක් එන්නේ නැති වෙනවා පින්වතුනි. අපි කියන්නේ අර සත්ව සතුට ඒනේන මොහොතට අපි මේ මොනවාද එහෙම අපි ගියොතින් අපේ අර මේ මොකද්ද අපි නියම සතුටක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ පින්වතුනි. අපි දුවනවා වෙනවා හිත එන්න දුර්වල වෙනවා. අර මහන්සි සිත වැඩි වෙනවා. ඒතර කේන්ති යනවා, ඊර්ෂ්‍යා වෙනවා. මනසේ මේකේතර ඊට පස්සේ ලකුවටම වෙනවා නිින්ද යන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් මේ කේක ඉතින් මම පැති දෙක තුනක් කියනවා සාමාන්‍යයෙන්. ඉතින් මාර මහත්තයට කිව්වා අර විදියට මහත්තයෝ ඔය ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එකට දැන් මෙහෙම ඉන්න ගමන් ප්‍රැක්ටිස් එක මහත්තයට ඉන්න ගමන් උදේට මේවා කළා තව මෙහෙම දැන් මම කියපු සමා කොටස් තියෙනවා අර භ්‍රමචර්ය රකින්න හැටි. ඒවල අඩුපාඩු පර්වර්ෂන්ස් එක ඒවා නැති කරගන්න හැටි. දැන් මේවා ඔක්කොම අර සමාධියට එරෙහිව යන එකක්. මම අර කියවනේ reptilian brain එක where the reptilian brain is working very much and there this particular activities are draining your energy. And when it is draining your energy, this is first step to free yourself from stress. It's not that, that only meditation you have to do. Before that, you must see, now these things that you drain your energy, you do these things hidden. Hangila karaneva. Deva kawurut kiyanne පින්වතුනි. මේක අපේ ජීවිතේ හැංගිලා වෙන හැම එකකදම ලොකු drain energy loss එකක් තියෙනවා. ඉතින් මම ඒවා මේ අද අලුත් අය ගොඩක් ඉන්නවද කොහොමද? පොඩක් අතු සම්පලන්ද ලාවට. සෑනේ. මේ බාගිට බාගි වගේ නේ. ඒ YouTube එකෙන් බලපු අයත් ඉන්නවද කට්ටිය? මම කරුණු කියපු ඒවා මට හරි බෝරින් ඒවා ආයි කියන්නේ. කොහොමද? බලපු අය කීප දෙනෙක්ද? අතේසුවත්. පොඩ්ඩයිනේ. So, I explain the ways you drain your energy. Now, if you have now for example, if you're a drunkard, you're drinking all the time and say, will you be efficient in any work? No. You'll be draining a lot of energy and all the money you'll be also thinking to spend on that. So, when you're a drunkard also, when you're losing so much, like drinking, you have so many other forms of addiction today. There are so many other forms of addiction, and especially with sexual activity. Today, this is a main drain of energy. Because it goes to perversion. There's no training, there's no education, there's no studies done explaining this matter. This is also kept in the Western world. They call it biological need. They simply give a word for it and say this is just a biological need. You have to do like that. But my friends, you get all the psychological problems from that. It starts from anything that we do, anything that is, it has not its purpose. So actually the ideal state is just the creation of a child. This purpose, this mukhya, but any other indulgence other than that, there is a damage, there is a danger. Not a danger, there is, not there. So now this is what I call from the age of 14 today, where we are going schools, where the schooling and all that. This knowledge I wish someone told me. I was in South Africa. I was brought up there, in southern part. And in those schools, the international schools there, they were so bad. But luckily I was certain shyness. The reason is shyness saved me. Now, every Friday there is a disco, college disco. So all the students go there. And I would have been the first person who would like to go there. But just to ask the money from my father, I was shy because he would wonder what am I up to go to, because I knew what my friends used to come and say what they did. So anyway, because of that shyness, it protected me from going. I would have now, if I went like that today, I can't be a monk, impossible. There are monks I meet in Sri Lanka from other countries who have ordained, foreign countries, I can see how much suffering they are struggling. That, they are trying to meditate. Not possible. They have done this, that is karma. So much memories. This party, that party, there's no end. I can understand that. Because I was in that atmosphere when I was brought up. But luckily I didn't go to any of those. If I did go, finish. I would have not had an idea of the animal brain would have been activated so much. So, normally I touch this topic, very important. Now, even if you're married, that is another place. That is like becoming a monk. I explain all the time. මේක තේරුණාද දන්නේ මම බැඳලා හිටියම් මහණුණා වගේ කියලා මම තේරුම් කරනවා. දැන් මේ නිවනට යන්න පින්වතුනි මේවා අවුල් කරගත්තොත් මේ වගේ අපි තාම ඉන ජීවිතෙන් ඒ ප්‍රධාන මේ වැරදි වැඩ වුණාම මේක මට තේරෙන ධර්මය අනුව මේ මනසේ ඒ අවශ්‍ය කරන පවිත්‍රභාවය, තැම්පත්භාවය නැහැ නිවනක් දකින්න. ඉතින් නැත්නම් අපි ඕවා කරලා එකපාරටම සතිය කියලා ගියාට මං හිතන්නේ නැහැ පින්වතුනි. ඒක අර ස්කෘතිම සතියක් වෙනවා. So ඒ විතරක් නෙමෙයි ණය බේරන්න නැතුව. හිමීට කාටවත් ඒක නීති අනුව ගැටලුවක් නැහැ. හැබැයි මිනිස්සුන්ට වේදනාවක් දෙනවා. දැන් ඔය ඔක්කොම හෘද සාක්ෂියට මෙයා වෙලා ඒක තමයි නිකන් යටපත් කරන් යනවා. ඒවත් බ්ලොක් කරනවා පින්වතුනි. Even have to pay loans and things like that. I remember one monk. Now we have a way when we are ordaining someone. Buddha has told us a way how to check whether he is suitable for ordination. Now this checking is to know the psychological preparation for it, whether he is really fit for going, and it shows whether he is free from karma, gross karma. So now nobody really considers that. One is the blessings of the parents. Now if you are married, to get permission from who you were married. Permission means if they agree and they are happy with what you are doing, that shows you have good supportive karma. And now even this program, if you have come alone without your husbands or whatever, in case your husband told you, why are you going all the time? There are some ladies, they face this. Now they think like, they are so blindly following all these spiritual things. So they also right in a way, they have a balancing effect. But suddenly they tell you, if you have to argue with him and then come, that shows the level of karma you are having. And if you come, you'll find, if you are really observant, that what you expected by going there, much as what you want to really experience, you will not experience it. If you're really honestly watching yourself. You see when he has told you to go, and then you go, you find it, you'll see how it is related. So this is with your parents also. If you're, so every decision, how to understand the karmic terrain. Yeah, this is important, So parents are very important, like you have to learn to get their blessings. Always not to hurt them, harm them. They are the most sincere people. And if you're married with your husband, how bad he is, whatever way, that doesn't matter. That is, you are not getting that by chance. That it's coming as a lesson for you to improve your soul, to improve your what is lacking in you. So that may be patience, forgiving, and also to not to sort of scold within inside you. Now you may sort of not scold because of fear, but inside you're hurt, like you're feeling hurt, and that is also you have to remove that. Now there's a technique from the Dharma how to do that. Now in most of my programs, some of them, now in the end I normally take the original Deshana, Sutta, and how to apply it to your practical life. Because this is very practical, just to see it from that angle. And when you see it from that angle, you will not see that there's my husband, this is my wife, this is my mother. You will see Dhamma. Actually, it makes you to see that these experiences are empty. That is the actual picture. If you don't, but it needs a type of reflection and a kind of way of observing to notice that. Just at face value like this, it is not seen. It's not possible. It will call really real. But say for example 1 hour ago or 2 hours ago, What did you see me seated here? Or 1 hour when you came here? How did you see it? Can you picture that picture? There was this, they would have been arranging and things like that, right? Now, can you really picture it? Really hold on to that memory. When you hold on to that memory, do you have that memory now, that picture now? No. Can you see like it was like now, what you're seeing immediately, me? One time it was similar like this. Can you remember that? මේ දැක්කා වගේ කියලා මතක් වෙනවද? බලන්න ඕනේ එදා ඒ වෙලාවේ මොහොතේ දැකපු එක ඒ වගේ මේ ඇත්ත වගේ තිබ්බ නේද? Then look at what happened. Then what happened? Now it doesn't look very real. It's form of a memory. So, do you think the same thing will happen to this experience you are going through? Right. You have to think like that. Then you don't hold on to this very much. You understand? You're not going to be buffed by this particular or tricked by this particular experience. So this needs a special part of your brain of analyzing and seeing that this is a dream. So this, not just few minutes doing like that is first starter, but you have to repeat these things and really study this again and again. Then it opens up and then it will create a vision of reality. If you do it much, ඒක සති සම්පජන්ණය කියලා කියනවා. ඔක ආයේ නිතරම ඒවා දැන් ඒ කරන ක්‍රම Buddha gives, then this leads to Nibbana actually. Until you really study and analyze the experiences you have gone through and seen because that will make you see the vanity and the unrealness of what you have gone through. And that will make you distance from the experiences. So to come to that, I'm only telling sometimes the groundwork. If you have a lot of disturbance in the mind, you can't sustain your attention for a long period. You're tired, you want to go to another thing, and peace becomes like a horror. You want to have no peace, it's really peace. Like many people in the war, war zone, they're telling now we want peace, accord, everything. They're only telling. Subconsciously, they are waiting for war to take place. When there's war, their adrenaline is rushing and they are happy with that. So when they're trained, because they have learned to delight, war. Otherwise, you can't be a soldier. So the other way, when you train, so very important thing, I want to give you some points. So normally in your relationships with people, and if you can use these techniques of seeing really, when someone is shouting in your office or your workplace or any, where you're living, you should be able to overcome it. Now, not to react. If you don't feel, you will not react. But if you feel, you will react for sure. So you have to think of these things to an extent where you can really react back, not to react. React in a way that you don't react. Now I did these things now one thing I must know, do you know anything, the people who are now here, what have you heard about me? Like go to the Himalayas, who are just today seeing me. And did you ever hear anything else? You might think that I had just come in like a joy journey here. This is very important. I don't know why, maybe you just come, like you get note there's a program. So I have to always remind this actually, because you might think, in 2000, when I was a young monk, at the age of 28, this is the first time I was invited to come to States that time. So I told those people, he was working in the World Bank or somewhere, I told him, when I'm an Arahant only I want to come. Now, leave alone the word Arahant. Actually, I was really thinking when I don't get angry and don't feel lustful or greedy or don't have any idea of ego, then only I would like to come. With this, still I'm having in my mind, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't want to go like that when I'm still myself not perfect. So I was not joking about that. I was really serious about it. So all these years then I was practicing. I had a very inspiring teacher. It first started in South Africa. Then I met this German teacher. He directed me to the original sutras, how to practice it and do it like the same time like the same period of the Buddha's time. He was showing that example because I used to go walking, wandering, stay night time in temples. And through my Archie, my grandma only, I met him when we came to Sri Lanka for a holiday. So after that, anyway, I will slowly cut short the whole thing. He inspired me a lot. So he also passed away, and then I was in the Himalayas. I used to go to the special part of Himalayas from 2009, Kailash, Mansarovar. Maybe you heard about that area. You have to go from Tibet. So this area I was going, and 2000. Now we know it's a very common thing, altitude sickness. Have you heard of this? Altitude sickness, that is in high altitude, lack of oxygen, your whole system, gets disturbed, and normally you can even go to a coma, and there's no medicine for that. Really, you have to just go to a low altitude. So 2000, I have got it slightly here and there, time to time, but 2014, I really got this. My guide and the driver, they also didn't know what to do, and I was all blue. Luckily, I didn't get it to my lungs, but a splitting headache and all blue. And and then we came to this lake, Mansarovar, and near this lake, I was then that night also very tough. I was not sure whether I could make it. So that one time we have a meditation where we prepare to face death. This I started to practice from 2004. In the jungle, certain experience I went through that helped me to overcome it. And then after that, daily I was practicing this, and this practice I was about to start because I don't know whether I could make this that particular night. And the first thought came before that I could share enough with the people. Now, the thing is, all these years I was avoiding people a lot. Of course, 2012 I came to the public also in Sri Lanka. Then these crowds were coming from all over. And then, but still I didn't fully go. I used to go back again and then come for a few programs, then go back like that. It was happening. So then 2014, I had this, after that, I just first thought came, I couldn't share enough with the people. Now can't help it. This is what I told myself. And then, can't help it. And then I start to focus on watching the present moment and contemplating. So these are the things I want to teach actually, but I had no opportunity. How to face death and all these things. Then anyway, I made it. I tell it short way. But 2015, it was something. It was like a no return thing happened. That same area. And there I was, same thought came the last moment that I couldn't do enough to the people, that can't help it now. So, but then, I don't know, I would say after that period, you're seeing a ghost. And I appreciate every moment I am traveling like that. Because sometimes I don't want to dilly-dally anything, but I'm so happy after this trip also, that now I don't think I'll get that thought that I couldn't do enough to the people. So maybe the organizers can be very happy. They have fulfilled completed some part of my destiny. And anyway, it took time to recover. I was in Kathmandu. They brought me from Lhasa to Kathmandu, and from Kathmandu it took 3 months. Not 3 months, like so much weakness in the body. And something else also happened in addition to that, just after that, which I got to know, like all this was like the Mara giving a direct blow. You would not experience this particular thing. I thought I was very strong. So something else happened which I can't tell anyone except some senior, my gurus or monks. Like situation where my robes were like almost, I was disrobed. There also I learned a very big lesson. Like what I cherished so much, it was all like shattered in a moment. Maybe my meditation, maybe my, virtue and all these things. And there, just to survive, I had to think of something. And that was the only thing to think, is to see exactly what happened. That I just told myself, now the word personalize is not strong to convey this word, this effect. So I used another new word, but it's not proper English. I told myself that don't egolize it. Just to give an idea, don't solidify it, in other words. Don't solidify this problem. This is not a problem. It is, this is, later I know there are signs of success. When you're having great crisis, when you're very close to some, like in rugger, when you're coming to the try line, all the tackles, come around, they sort of tackle you and this thing. So same way, all the problems come one after the other when you're very close to something. When gems are near you. It's true, I did experience that. So anyway, it told to myself, don't egolize this, let it pass away. And this is just a happening. That's another thing I told myself. This is just a phenomena, a happening. Nobody did anything to me and there's nobody to experience. Just a happening, let it pass away. And when I continued like that, I learned a big lesson from that. So I must tell you, this meeting, I'm little bit this thing because for you all to have no idea from what background I was coming. So that, now even if the Buddha comes and tells me don't go, I will be going because I have to teach you all or give you some. So the thing is, I was expecting too much for certain perfection. Like if you're studying for your PhD, you can teach something from your masters, isn't it? So I didn't think like that, but now I have come to the senses of that. But my friends, I must tell you, if you all are meeting me also, I hope, it should give you some strength to really make a change in your life. If it doesn't, I would say that it's not possible. You will have to change. You will have to practice something. You will have to change from your weakness, some weaknesses you are having. This will happen. So, this is very important. I just want to give you some idea. And you must say that if I don't remember it, just to tell you all, I will remember about that. I don't sort of ponder about that. That's not in me. There's that idea that when you go back to things, my friends, that's because we are untrained mind. We can keep on pondering and we can keep on expecting some things we didn't achieve. There's nothing to achieve except not to expect anything. To have that mentality, that's the only thing we can achieve. So, if you have this mentality, you will not cling to anything negative in the past. You will continue, and you must know that all these. Now look at Angulimala. He was a murderer, serial killer, you could call him. He did all these things. Then what? Just imagine, even say he didn't meet the Buddha or anything and he stopped doing that. Just he will be a normal person. One thing, he might be put into jail. Other thing, he'll be so remorseful. Right? A normal person, he will, if he was doing like that, say Prabhakaran, say you caught him and you put him into jail, surely he will be remorseful if he has some heart left. And other thing, he will go to hell with that karma. Now just imagine, none of that happened. Just meeting a master and he made you to see the truth. And then did he start to identify with those things? No. He realized who he was really. He realized who did those things was really not him. Now this is another important, I see an important practice. If you have some depression, some worry, some fear about life, you must put back, you must see really, is it really me? I mean, you might think I have heard the Bana everywhere myself, why should I? No, if you do this exercise now properly, you'll find that with any kind of trouble you had or distress, you will lose it immediately. Now in Singapore airport, I remember I was there, and there's one gentleman, he was also going to Australia from Sri Lanka, and he was like in a state of depression. I felt it, and then he said so. Then he also thought maybe he could get some knowledge from me. Said, Bhante, I said, are you in a sort of sad situation now? He said, yes, Bhante, yes. I mean, my parents died, and I have no particular. Other thing is, I just went to visit. My relations, and my relations are trying to get property and all that, and I was so disillusioned to see that they are interested in those things, and not and like I'm left alone now. Well, I said, yes, right, this is happening in the world. But do you see me? I said. What do you see? Do you see me now? He said, yes, Bhante, I see you. And I said, well, do you feel the heaviness in your feet? Do you feel you're standing? Then he said, yes, Bhante, I could feel that. And these thoughts, all that is past. It's like you're bringing certain thoughts into there. And they don't exist now. You're just bringing it. You can also do something where you don't bring it in. You just make sure you notice what you are now experiencing. Where you're standing and you're seeing me. And when you was trying that, I could see there was a lightning up in his thing. Now suddenly he got to know the idea that the problem is something separate. There is a state of mind where there's no problem. And he was doing that, and I was so happy. He was like, at least he got a simple idea that, these problems are not you. You have wrongly identified your feeling. Now I'm getting a full picture of this. How you are identifying the dimension of problem as you. This is your wrong, unenlightened mind. You're sort of going into garbage. And it's up to you not to go into the garbage and not to pay attention and be with the lotus. The lotus mind. So that needs a certain reminder. You must you have to sort of little bit investigate, because this is not something you can imagine. This is what really goes on, and you have to place certain attention to notice what is really going on. So this little bit mindfulness, now you must feel, now maybe you feel tired or something, or you feel the cold, or you feel, just feel that very much. Then you're coming closer to the place of observation. Even if you do that much even, you'll be gathering energy. You will lose all mental worry. And when the mind is freeing from worry and stress, your body will get energized. Now the sicknesses of body also have arisen by some kind of weakening of your mind. Now when you go in the direction of strengthening your mind, surely you will be gaining, I think you will be opening up pharmacies in your body if you're sick. Because to the levels of tranquility you're gaining in the mind, you will be creating certain hormones in your system, which no medicine, no laboratory can create actually. Your immune system and inside you, there are abilities of making certain, now normally I know in meditation and certain, next call something called ojas, tejas. If that happens very much, you will have a very special type of body also. Normally who develops this very much, they get this shine. Now even who are going for this, beauty, modeling and all that, they do yoga. Just they know that inner charm, it's another attraction. That's the main one that makes the judges notice. So if you actually get that particular inner peace more and more for that much time, the other way around. I explain this very often, especially for younger people also. I don't know. I get so bored to talk about it again and again. So one thing I must just finish this off in a way. Just how you don't identify with, you must begin to notice who you are, where you are. If you get a thought, whether the thought is you. You can know immediately the thought comes and goes. It's like a screen, we have the brain, the screen, and then we have the projector, which with the light, it creates all this. Normally the memories are about what you have seen and heard, right? It's not, you don't normally remember an empty things. Very rarely we remember what we had greed with, which had some greed or anger. That's what registers very much. So you can see that those are normally colors and pictures. You don't find someone like, silent who have insulted you. Or someone, actually that is a sound. And it gave a perception that this person, and then in the Buddha's teaching it says it's a moment of consciousness you experienced in the past. And in a moment of consciousness you have these factors of consciousness where you feel, you perceive, and if you perceive it as pleasant, you react with anger also, irritation and hurt or whatever. If you perceive it as pleasant, you react with greed. You want to hear further. Or you want to remember this thing. So these are all your, inclining that is mano karma, it is said. So we are always doing this in our life. Now they are mostly with what you have seen, heard and felt, these are with the 5 senses. So this is like, now the empty screen is there, and the 5 senses, they create the main, you could say, Bollywood. That the main movies are created by that. But you take away, if you can just watch yourself, that what you experience, then you have to, those films, they just stop. One movie came, another one came. Like you experienced one time, one period of your life, so many activities connected with children, then with later on now maybe grandchildren, some drama. And if any kind of memory you're having, you must know that these things that registered in your blank mind. Blank mind is like that particular, that white, this thing that the light falls into. And there you should know, if you can sort of rethink and sort of remind these things what you have seen is something past and gone. And was it me? But do you get the feeling of me without that experience? Do you? ඒ අත්දැකීම් නැතුව මම කියන හැඟීම එනවද? මම කියලා දෙයක් මේ හිස් තැනකට හිතට එනවද? නෑනේ. එතකොට අර මම කියන අදහස ආවේ, the idea of I came associating those particular something someone did, I experienced it. These are the feelings, perceptions you think is me. But they had a rising and passing away. Now if they rose and passed away, there and then you also was born and you also died there that time. Yeah, then that is really, you can see when that time it was coming and going. Such, what you can't be something changing from one to the other. This must be some kind of හොරමිනියෙක් වෙන්න තින්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ like what is this අර caterpillar නේ? caterpillar අර not caterpillar. අර camouflage කරන්නේ කවුද? කටුස්සනේ. What do you call it? Caterpillar? No. What do you call it in English? I forget the English words now. Huh? A lizard, no? But a type of lizard. There are so many varieties of lizard, okay. Yeah, they change their color. So life is also like, these perceptions, if they change their form and you think this is me, something you can't be changing all the time. So you have to look at that and see, really, Jnanaloka, it was not you. There was not you there. Now we say we are Buddhists, it's no point, if you identify like that and have grudges with people and memories with people, that means we are living in fully mithya ditti. We are a disgrace to this great master. So this is very important. And also we are, our mind, we will have a long face most of the time because we are thinking, our thoughts are very bad, very ugly. But when we learn to clear like that and not to worry of any situation, even if a bomb is put in front of us, we see now we don't die before the bomb goes off by worrying about it. Now mostly that's what's happening. The moment of death is such a minute or so, not a minute, even millisecond maybe. But we die so much thinking, worrying about it. So if you know and you remain in the present moment and sort of, if this practice is done, you find so much peace is coming and so much worries just disappear. And you're free from worry means you're already like a Deva, Brahma. Because if you die like that, you go to a good place. That means a place free from worry. I mean, you can know where you're being reborn next time, the way you live now. There's no big difference. If you're living worried and this thing, you think after death you will, no, you get a worse place if you die like that. But if you are not worried now, unconcerned, you're already reaching, your consciousness is reaching a higher plane, higher kind of, and if that happens, you don't need, you're doing other work, the worldly work, but without the sufferings of it. Do out of, duty, without the worry, the problems connected with that. So that is something, our life is complete. We use this life as a vessel for us to develop this higher consciousness more and more. I normally explain this like in your life sometimes we put our life into mud. And then we put our life in, sometimes we wash our life, like coming here. Okay, we do good things which are connected with meditation or Dharma or something. So when we are doing the negative things, sometimes we have two parts in our life, the black and the white. Like, so when we suddenly put ourselves in the negative way, that means what? It is connected with lot of greed, hate or delusion. Normally we do these things hidden because society also we feel shy to do these sinful things. So we do it hidden. When we are doing something like that hidden, that vibration that we emanate, the similar vibration, the dimensions that are there, they get opened up. And there are beings in those dimensions, they enter our body. So we can know whether they have entered when we find that we get a driving force to do something negative suddenly. So today, normally suddenly we feel like going to the bar, we feel like going to some negative thing. Now I don't know, in this area somewhere we feel driven. Definitely those negative forces are, we call it bhut pret, they are in our system. So now today we don't need even externally to go some places. Today we have the computer. Very easily we have access for the five senses. It's called information technology, where this particular higher pitch of emotions are activated in the mind, where it opens those dimensions very much. I will explain very well this. And you can find scientific, like the MRI scan showing the brain function while this thing is very interesting. So, when you know that there are these negative forces that are, you might notice that. You suddenly see, oh my God, I am uncontrolled, I am doing this. When you feel like that, when you know that this is happening, and they will destroy you, because they will take you again and again to meet those bad friends or, do those bad things, or look at the certain bad things. When you're doing like that, they are like vampires, sucking your vitality, the energy. And you'll become ugly also because your personality is destroyed when you have a shady character. Now when there is this part, now I'm telling you will be having this is happening to mainly good people. It's like a certain nature, demonic forces, they try to stop the persons who are really who have the potential of being great people. Now you must not think that this is happening to someone really bad. I will explain in a way. So when you know there are these things and suddenly temptations come to this, you must know there's definitely this force and you can keep away from that. So the second day, third day, when you manage to keep away, those forces don't get nourishment. Now when I explained like this in Melbourne, I remember some young gentleman, so he was telling, then he got to know when he was in Melbourne city how he was suddenly feel distracted to do something. Then he remembered, Bante told there are bhutas and invisible spirits that are, then he noticed that and he stopped doing that. That was my first period when I was discoursing on this. So when you recognize this, then when you can keep away 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, then it is like you're patching up certain holes that you're made in your character. Charite hatikaragatha hill eva wahanda patan gannawa. Then you create the foundation, a strong foundation slowly. So after 1 week, 2 weeks, when you do like that, those beings don't get nourishment, they'll have to leave the system. And another thing is, you open up. Now if you can do, when you're doing that, you are reserving energy and you will get more interested to do the spiritual things or, deeper things. Not animalistic, inclinations, but to think, to understand what is life and to sort of pursue good things, you get energy. And your personality becomes a more wholesome people. Otherwise, other way, you might think you have a bath and come, you don't get clean. You become like a clown. Then you'll have to show your visiting card or some explanation of, about what you are to get respect from people. The charm you lose. Now in this part of the world, very important to be looking nice, right? Because we can really get super niceness if you can really practice Buddhism. I was once there was this. Please remind me, right? This where I stopped in case I had to explain something. I just quickly go to this story I remember. In Birmingham, we are in Birmingham, right? Okay, this in Birmingham. It's supposed to be that one boy, he was giving a talk how he became a Buddhist. He is a local person. So he, when he was giving this talk, he has said he was telling, even when he was a young boy, he was attracted to Buddhism. How? His parents have a shop, in Birmingham. I don't know which part. And then a boutique or store or something, grocery. And there was one lady she noticed always, an Asian lady, who used to come and get, she seemed to be not having much money, little poor. She comes and buys small things and go. But she looked so happy. So one day she asked the mother, Mom, who is that lady? Said, well, she's a Sri Lankan. And then, why is she so happy? I always see her always happy and all that. And she said, because she's a Buddhist. Just imagine. Yeah, that's, really, if we can practice these things, I don't know, maybe she's practicing, someone who practice like that, we can make we can be like a mirror to the world. It's not by telling we are Buddhist or anything and getting angry with people. And then, so not to disgrace this religion, in any form. You know this name Yusuf, right? You hear in these people. When you hear the name Yusuf, what do you feel? Sorry? Yusuf, okay. Yeah. A cricketer, right? Okay, from Pakistan or somewhere, right? All right. But normally you think suddenly this person is what? Muslim, right? That name is given to a Muslim. So this name, I will tell you, it's a nice, enlightening, very new thing you'll all hear. Because Yusuf is the name of a certain prophet in their religion. They believe. Now this same prophet is shared in the Old Testament in the Christian religion. They call him Joseph, Prophet Joseph. Have you ever read his story or anything? Gone through that? No? And you don't want to also, isn't it? Because he's Christian, right? Isn't it? I mean, කොහොමද හිතෙන්නේ මටත් හිතෙනවා මේ ක්‍රිස්තියානි මොකද්ද මේ බයිබලේ එකක් නේ මොකද්ද මේ අපිට කිසි සම්බන්ධයක් නැහැ. That is a story of a bodhisattva. You have parts of Mahaushadha. You have parts of, my God, my mind was, because I am also attracted not through any form. I tell you, I don't know whether you know any of my background, I came to Buddha's teaching through physics. But not physics led me to that. Theory of relativity was something that I was trying to search for the truth. So I thought the Buddhism I saw my mother practicing, it seems like a religion for me. I thought it's another religion. I never felt it was the main thing that will solve my quest. This happened to me when I was 18. It started step by step, 14, 15, 16, but 18, I had this experience on my own in a way of this anitya nature. But it was like, I don't know how to explain this, and I had a vision of a monk, that monks are like this, they are trying to see this truth again and again, and I must be like this. And the purpose of these monks are to get that knowledge, that is where the immortal state is, in the vision. So, for me it is like, this culture, did I give you all 5 precepts? Nothing, right? I don't do all this. I'm coming straight to the subject. Quickly I'm coming straight to the subject, and I see it's like a mission in myself, but then I will tell you what to find, where the Buddha, what to be done. To the end I will explain that also. And directly to go, like Buddha, the Buddha's teaching to get connected, there's immediately and to really do the thing so that you get it's like a life jacket. It saves you now from the drowning, from the kleshas, defilements. So Joseph is very interesting. My teacher has told me these things. How the German teacher, he used to tell the Silk Route. Sedamavata kila tibla tino nisarara. Those literature have come to this part from those areas. It's very logical. Logical means when you read the stories, my God, it's a bodhisattva. And in more detail than the Jataka, the Jataka is there, but here they have, and I was just feeling how, now because when they do the compassion, the wisdom, how he solves the problems certain at young age. So normally they have interpreted like it's given the divine, given wisdom and knowledge, but it was very interesting. So I'm sure other things also now, even some people like Francisco of Assisi, but I don't know. I first also felt that like you're same, because you don't know something, you feel, I also done the same mistake. There are some very famous, great people. I saw them from far and I thought, why all these people going? But later I was a great admirer of that particular person when I got to know him and got something from him. So sometimes, this mistake happens in all of us. We make judgments and we might make a lot of sin also by that. So one has to be very careful not to judge. So this, in an unorthodox way, so I was explaining something, right? I told to remind me. Can anyone do?
Release energy by restraining these bad things, and then you develop this inner charm.
You know all the routine discourse. You already tell before I tell. It's okay. Okay, I know. Now I didn't talk about inner charm yet. I told now other way, when you do, even if you have a bath, you can't come. You look okay, you dress up, you think you can cover it up, but it will show in your personality, because certain bhutas, pretas, they are clinging to your body. They have experienced certain experiences through your body. So when that is there, it also creates a kind of, so you'll have to put a lot of perfume to cover, because if they are locked in present, there will be an unusual smell also going from you in your personality. So that's why I said you become like a clown. You become like a clown, but when you're with a lot of clowns, no problem, you can hide there. You can't notice. If you're like in some people who are coming out of it, they can notice, but normally all together same, they're doing the same thing, no? So this is a problem also one way. You don't have a proper now sometimes who is not a clown looks like a clown from the clowns, because they are, the vision is from their angle. This I have many experiences. If I go to stories in my personal life, it might take a little long. I want to cover some points for young and old, everybody, something which might help you all to. So when you get to know like that, definitely you will keep away 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Next time you will not, it starts from small things. You go to the breaking of it. So first, it's difficult to, something that stimulates that particular temptation, even the slightest thing you must keep away. Maybe something you see, something you hear, you keep away even from that. Don't think that, okay, a little bit like, vegetarian unam issara mamala hema, they became vegetarian. So what happened? When during dinner, when the dish is brought, they will take little bit of the gravy. They said, no. Few days they take the gravy, and they think, no, we will do it little later. Now let me eat the chicken. So like this, my friends, when you learn to taste a little bit, remember that, keep away. Take that small tasting is equal to eating the chicken itself. And then you can control your senses. If you don't do like that, this is a skill. This is like in a battleground, how you avoid the bullets. So already, you anticipate exactly where the enemy. You have proper judgment of it. So this I tell you some techniques. The Buddha explains them, Indriya Sangvara. Iriyapate. Now Iriyapate is the one, the relaxing one. The Indriya Sangvara is the one I'm talking about, how you anticipate and you don't allow even the slightest thing to enter from your senses, which will stimulate you. It will start from 1, 2, 3, small, and then it will go into a bigger this thing. So this is something you understand and you keep away from these things. And when you do like that, certain tranquility you'll experience certain tranquility coming more in your life. When that happens, there's something opposite that gets formed in your body also. You get charm, you get some opposite too. Now say for example, mainly these negative things come with sexual activity or drinking or any other addiction through even computer games. I will explain that, okay? This is a real subject. So when this is happening, not only games, maybe some other things, but I got to know that computer games have this. So when this is happening in you, when the opposite way, when you are not doing, and then inside another type of hormones get formed. Now there's no name in the modern medical system, but you have it in the Ayurveda. It's called Ojas, Tejas. Now that Ojas, it goes to your brain. It goes up. And they get deposited in your brain, and areas that the brain was not functioning start to work. Now you create an opposite cycle. Now those deposited, unopened parts of the brain, when they start to function, they like a power brain. It starts to create a cycle. Then it destroys the poisonous part that you've already opened. So when this happens very much, there will be a physiological change in your body also. You can see a clear change in your aura also. In other words, you look more handsome, more pretty. One thing you'll notice, there will be a shine in your forehead. The cheeks and the forehead. So I normally tell, don't lose that shine if you get that. So this is something, then you don't have to apply what I always tell, this Nivea and all that. Fair and lovely in Sri Lanka, isn't it? I don't know. You'll have that spiritual Nivea. that is something very, I hope you all will get really that you'll know that is happening to you. Next time you do something, you know you are really making yourself ugly. And I don't think no one wants to become ugly. And you'll be losing, like you look, if you're 20, you look 35. It will happen. Drawn out. No energy. And actually, the other way, when you are doing, you have looked so charming, so this thing. And you will have to escape from ladies. This funny thing, right? You run away from them and they come behind you. It's something like this. You're looking for somebody, nobody coming to you. So these are the positive side of it. But you don't do it for that. But when you're doing that, you will find some higher truth, I'm sure. So I can only give you some, Buddha's time, he promised one monk that he will find a better wife than Janapada Kalyani, beauty queen of that time. And well, Buddha managed to bring him. He had the potential. I'm sure all of you are having the potential, great potential. I feel this. You won't be coming like this, my friends. I don't think. There is something in you all that I hope it will open up more in this particular period. And you will do something in your life which will make everybody so, complete and set an example. Show your real mark as a nation, this country, what it can contribute. Sri Lanka, the main thing, after I got this understanding, I didn't want to go any Western country, no. Not to South Africa, not to any country other than Sri Lanka and India, of course. The Himalayas, the jungles of Sri Lanka and the Himalayas. These are the only attraction, even now. If I want to go, Buddha Gaya is number one, I would say. I really like as a place. But other places I have no attraction. This is for me a suffering coming here. But not now. I feel so happy I can serve. And I feel that this is something, this trip made me just meeting certain people. That was enough for me coming this trip. The suffering they are going through. And I was so happy that I was able to, be there. And these things are really for me now, I'm really happy. Because I was always thinking, I wouldn't want to set an example even to other monks. To go to the Western, now some of them who don't know much about what is going on, they might think I'm the same, having the same mind. And that, okay, when they think England or other countries, they think, well, but I got to know something that pushed me to come also, another one. One was, of course, facing near death. The other one was, like, I have some connection with some gurus, I would say, like rishis. I don't know whether you've heard about them. The Himalayas, they develop this concentration power a lot, and they have some intuitive knowledge about the future, the past, how the karma works. Now, one of them, actually, they told me 3 years ago that near Rishikesh, Swamiji, they call me, Swamiji, when you're 45, you will have no time even to come to this area. It's so true. I'm 45, now I'm 46 this October, but it's very true. What he said was so true. Busy, going from country to country. And yeah, they have some kind of, sight to the future. That means how our karma works out. So I had definitely some destined reason to come here and to be with this kind of, this period. So another one I remember, regarding one time I had this experience with this particular rishis, where they were able to, like, behind you there are certain beings that come, but you don't normally notice. Of course, they are invisible. We call ancestors and all that, who are attached to us, who didn't die, who had attachment and they didn't die, and they had no merit enough to go leaving you. So they are in that stage as they were with you before. Maybe before life also. They follow the next life also. So these beings are attached. They have attachment and they create attachment. So one day I remember this particular rishi, he able to sort of bring those invisible beings into the body. And then the other person is unconscious. Someone else is talking. There one boy was brought by the mother. He was like going to parties and he was not studying and this kind of thing he was doing. So mother was worried and thinking why, and then when he was brought, suddenly this boy became unconscious. Someone else was talking through him. He said, this body, this is my body, he was telling. Who are you? He said, now some name, some spirit, something. Then he said, when did you come? When he was 13 years old. How did he come? When he was playing games. I was surprised, I couldn't relate it immediately, how? But then I understood, how. You see, now we know that when we practice metta, compassion meditation, may somebody be well and all that, that intention, that way of thinking brings a certain type of consciousness, higher consciousness. Then we know if you die like that, normally Brahma Loka. But when we say here, fight, kill, I don't know what, now there are so many types of games, right? It is like a variety. And when you are doing like that, what kind of consciousness you are activating? A lower kind of consciousness. It may be even a looking innocent thing, but it makes you addictive, means you want to, again, and then if that lower consciousness is created. So that is understandable rationally. So just imagine the other thing. I was in Oxford University. They found that addiction to games is equal to the heroin addiction. The dopamine released in the brain equal to heroin. The dopamine rush, because that is where the addiction, they study the brain function. The dopamine that is put out, that's called feel-good hormones, that is put out the exact quantity of games, same with this heroin. So you can see that not only that, so many other things I don't know, but only I got to know about the games. So anywhere you find you're addicted, you want to do it again and again. Definitely, computer is neutral, my friends. Computer is like just an instrument. What you're using it for. So we must know the demon is using it more than the Buddha. So if something that makes you excited a lot in that, definitely the demon is in action. So there one place, there's some spirit like that, when they said he came through Facebook. I don't know, actually I know to operate YouTube for the programs. That's also for the programs, tell you honestly. If I was using for that other purpose, I would not get this. We got these certain visions when we were in the quiet places, living a simple life. No, not even any idea of what the village, the Kapakaru or nothing. No connection to any human being or to a scenery. Just having the original teachings, and with a kind of a candle lamp or a kerosene lamp, if you're practicing, only we got these things. So if you are distracted by even a lot of knowledge through all this technology, impossible. But I am now using it for the programs, because for you all, I feel sometimes very bad, because sometimes I don't want to set that example. But then I don't know whether I also got addicted in some form. There's a way I get those pictures of, and then for you to come to you all with that certain what I am having inside, I bring it outside when I come, because even now while I'm talking, you will be experiencing something. To do that, I need to do some type of, and very helpful to have that graphic picture to activate that. And so, because like dopamine rush, I have another rush through that. You can get. So you must know what but unfortunately this is used by people who are not enlightened, who are having that diseases in the mind. So unless you are told about there are danger in these things, that's also important. That knowledge should go, so that next time you learn not to destroy yourself or to harm yourself. And you keep away. So very interesting, now the spirit's entering in another form. Now look at the MRI scan scientifically, equal to heroin, and the dopamine coming out of your brain. You can even test for other things that you're using. And the other one I remember, it's also very interesting research, like, even the other addictions connected with, I can't tell about it. Okay, one more thing I must tell. Now, even in these countries, in England and West, in America and all that, I have found that there are local people, like, vegan, they keep away from other food, and they're seeing the benefit of, how do you pronounce that? Vegan, 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 because our time we didn't have all this, now it's a new one. Okay. That they are good in a way, going closer to nature and things like that. Now, if you now like this, there's another group who keep away from certain perversions of sexual activity, which, these people, they're keeping away like a group, because it's a challenge, it's not easy. But they have known the damage, the danger of that, and like 1 week, 2 weeks, they're keeping away. Because they know like the certain spirits come to eat that muck that is created in your system. The fluid that is even, when you are exciting your mind, the fluid that is created around you, they have also got to know there are certain spirits that eat on that. I wish this Dharma was taught to me when I was a young boy. I would have gone further. Not losing a certain, I would have not known there's the energy in these things, because I told you they will call it biological need. So simple, no need to worry about it. Don't go insane. And you can drive the car, it's not like drinking alcohol. You can drive the car only. So whatever it is, now when you know that there's this thing, though, this group is called NoFap. I must tell you, NoFap. So this is in YouTube. You will find NoFap, NoFap. So this is actually double P or single P. So there's an entire group. This must help certain people. Now there are some people who have told me who are age 50, 60, 70. Swami Bante, nobody told us this. They're doing social work, lot of good work. But these things are happening to them because this has been going on as a habit. And because we have not learned to, relate the spiritual teachings to this time, this current day and age. And then you have, so from the age of 14 also. So this is only one aspect. So I also tell even marriage is like becoming a monk, you stick to one person, you don't change, if you keep changing, it is like never ending. You'll never find a perfect companion, my friends. I think I told partnership in the sensual world. I said, when he asked me in Sri Lanka, are you married? Now I'm sorry, in India, because they think I'm wearing a costume. Some places they don't know that I am a monk. So I said, yes, I am married. I tell them immediately. I said, where is your wife? Then I say, here, the Buddha is my wife. So, and actually that is the perfect marriage you can have. I think I've been telling this story, but there are little new people. They said there's a book written, How to Find a Perfect Husband and How to Find a Perfect Wife. 2 books written. Have you heard? You must be having the bookstore here. Maybe it's out now in this bookshop here. And this might be good before it's too late. And then you might get tips. And then I think recently somebody has gone to get that book somewhere in London or I think South Africa. I can't remember. So when he has gone there, he couldn't find it there, and he asked the shopkeeper, where is that book, How to Find a Perfect Wife? Then the shopkeeper has said, the fiction section. Yes, my friends, you cannot. It's not a possibility. Now people who have understood, like in Asia it's a bit easy, but in the foreign countries, they have no idea, and they just keep on, and 80 years old, they have another wedding. Just goes on, it goes on, and unfortunately that wisdom has not come into the mind. It's not possible. My friends, you get what surroundings according to you. If you're perfect, you'll get a perfect surrounding. It's a reflection of you. If you're half perfect, you get a half perfect surrounding. You can't complain about it because the surrounding is created. Actually, if you're perfect, you will not get surrounding, and there won't be a you also. Nothing, you can't be something and be perfect. Impossible. Even if everything is okay, if it's something, it will end. It has a beginning, so it ends. It has a anitya. So that's why Buddha shows you how not to become, not to be, and that's the perfection. To find perfection in the absence of the world, not in the presence of this world. So anyway, I'm telling these things. So that's why I said, if you have this wisdom, it is good. Okay, if your husband, wife leaves you and go, that's okay. You don't make karma. You make him. You try your best to also sort of develop the qualities of patience, not finding fault, and so on. And there are some cases where suddenly you get attracted or distracted by some persons. They look so compatible, but out of your normal, relationship, you're going out means you're having a weak karma. I think today also I experienced certain people. I just have to, now you can see they're coming to me with so much mental worry. Who has created that? Them. I hope they are not here, but I like to tell this point. You see, she was with somebody, okay, maybe like a child or something, and then she was telling Bante, and I met some people who have some problems. I have told today after my arms round. So then she was telling, then I gave some solution. Then I asked, where is the father of this child? Then he said, well, father, I am separated or something. And then somebody else is helping me. I of course, it's very clear to me. Somebody else helping means somebody else, and the problem with that somebody else. I didn't go to further, but look, the person has done a big mistake. Even if you were tortured, better you'd have not been thinking about the child and not going away from because you can see the karma following. Now you think suddenly, and then you turn away, you make double karma. You become a patachara by that way. And then, but of course, I'm sure I gave some points. You'd understand that out of this thing, how and there's problem with this case also. Because that is a weak karma. That's why you get distracted by something. it might look, so if you go into that, you'll upset this and you'll find out that also, because if you're cheating, you'll get a cheater. So this is something I noticed once, I remember. So some ladies, they come, they can't tell anyone, and they just, one day one lady, she was crying while she was worshipping. So I knew she would gone through some difficult thing. I said, "What is it, madam?" Then she told me, "Bante, my husband, they're having quite a position in Sri Lanka in the society. They are quite so now they can't tell anyone. Also, the husband is carrying on with somebody in the office, and now the wife is now, really, she's really heartbroken, and she's maybe very angry. So then I told her, when he's going through a bad period, though we are married, we have still different karma and destiny. And when a bad period comes, these distractions come. And these negative forces, sort of from both sides, who are the other side and this side, when they meet only, this falling in love, this thing happen. These are the negative spirits entering the body. I studied this, how it's happening. Because it's a very mysterious thing how you fall in love with somebody. So when it happens like that, if you have an understanding, but if you're attached to your husband and expect something, then that's why it spoils everything. So you will resent, and that love is changed to hate. But if you know, and if you're detached, you can even tell, knowing his condition, and he also don't want to do this maybe, but he's driven by these inner forces. So when you can tell him, don't worry, you're going through Senasuru Appala these days, we will do a Bodhi Puja for you, he will fall in love with you. So that's how much detachment you have. You can really be a super husband, a super wife, I would think. So the practice of that's if you don't get worried in a circumstance, you can be the best, you can face that circumstance in the best possible way. And you have evolved your soul also. Because something is happening to you, there's some reason for that. It's not coming by chance. Some lesson that you have to learn. You have done a mistake too, somewhere in past. It's nothing just coming out of the blues. So, I don't know, I'm telling all these points. I'm coming back to another level of things. So I generally covered some of the things I want to explain at a ground level. And anything I like, or any question, and I can try to explain something from that. I see some of you are in quite still some distress. I think some things are worrying you all. Let me see. Life is not easy, my friends, I know. I know means I am not going through. When I meet the people and when I get to know what they are going through, I am also surprised, really. Yesterday, another person with 2 tumors and all that. She looks so beautiful, everything. But going through all these things, Not what we see, nicely dressed. Oh, this person, now I remember the point I want to tell. I was telling about some rishis, that some other thing, information I got that convinced me to come on this trip. Right? I don't know, it's just floating, all these thoughts, and they just come up again. So this is one, like I used to get some information. They have some vision, some knowledge about. So I was really hesitant whether I'm making a wrong decision to accept these invitations and go. Because I don't mind sacrificing. I have done this for now 17 years. Why can't I don't mind going another head and really doing something. This is my dream. Maybe become an arahant and then come. It doesn't matter whether I'm 80 years old even after that. So I was really thinking, because I didn't want to, I'm not in a hurry, I can go on. So I had this contact with them, and they told me like this, they were telling, don't think in the West and these places that they are all, because I was feeling guilty, like why am I not going to Africa? Of course I didn't get an invitation from Africa. And why am I not going to some other place like China or somewhere? I mean, of course I don't have invitation from there. But still it's like, we think from Sri Lanka maybe that, okay, in those countries, just England means England, that is like all payments with gold and all that. Oh God, that can. Yeah, I feel so sad also sometimes. So anyway, I was forewarned, I would say, or told before. Then this Rishi told, don't think, you must go. Why? He told me like this, it's like a arid land, like out after drought, fully scorched with this, heat and all that. And then if you give this Dhamma, it's like spreading water into that arid land. And you go there, I can see that, of course, people here appreciate so much. I can notice, and I'm so happy. I mean, I really can die in peace. Another thing, that suffering has made them to really appreciate the Dhamma, to go, because also they have no vanity or some kind of illusion about material life also. They see the maximum they could see about it. That's also a good aspect, definitely. You don't have some fantasy about it. But also, because of that exposure to that kind of thing and how to maintain it, the life, you can't be a lazy person here to survive. I mean, here I think mostly people are more educated, but I notice in, say, France and maybe, I don't know, but still you'll have occasions where you have to work in different situations, right? My father told me when he worked in a restaurant kitchens, and how he worked one time. And he told me a story once. He was in London for 10 years. Actually, he was playing the fool. He had a car, he used to go to the continent. He used to tell me all his stories, Italy. I think he had girlfriends everywhere. And then he used to just enjoy everywhere. I mean, he was like a joker, entertainer for the Sri Lankan crowd maybe, those days, in 1970s. And because he's very artistic, he can play piano, all these things, and he's a very sociable person. So what happened, one day he told me that he was working in a restaurant somewhere and in the kitchen. So another Asian person came, but he suspected he's a Sri Lankan young man. And then he was given the waiter, like in front to work, but which is higher than my father, for example. So one day he happened to, he was trying to avoid him much as possible. But one day they came in contact. Then he asked, where are you from? Something like that. Then he has said South America. And the next day he left the job. So he used to tell me he's, in the latter period when he started studying, I think when he was late 20s, at the time, then he came to Sri Lanka, married my mother. So, but anyway, it's good experience, I think. And I think here you can attain Nibbana easy. Because you have that drive, that suffering you feel, and you don't have any grandiose about the material world also. And when you have the Dhamma to replace it, but you need a little bit, I would say, how to do the meditation while doing the work. This you have to bring in. This is not because you have a lot of work. It's because you are not mastering that particular technique of walking without feeling tension, talking without feeling tension, driving without feeling tension. Like you must feel the seat and sit in a comfortable posture and pay attention to, don't rush to drive. You have normally to sort of think, we have to get to the airport or pick up somebody or something. Okay, we have that plan, but feel the moment a little bit. It will make a big difference. Like in Australia, I did this, and even here, there was one gentleman. Normally the gentlemen who bring me or take me from place to place, so they feel now it's close quarter and they could ask many questions. They're all very interested, really, very interesting. I'm also very pleased to be with them. So normally when I'm also going in the vehicle, I rather be quiet, so that I can focus and sort of go deeper into some meditation. So anyway, some of them did ask me now these few days, several times they asked me, first they asked me, Bante, is it okay if I talk? So I would say, okay, I can't be so unkind. And they used to ask me. So one gentleman I know, he asked me, but he was like, then he also came to the point where, how to do this? Can it be done in our day-to-day life, this practice? Then I said, Mahathyo, we do it now, I said. And he was talking a lot, and then I told, let us try right now. And now he's driving, right? Now he was seated, his seat was like reclining, and he was like straight holding the steering wheel. So I said, my friend, your seat is like, recline. You think of the Hansiputua in Sri Lanka. We have the reclining, very relaxing chairs we have. So why don't you recline, relax and feel the seat and feel the steering wheel and feel how you're holding, and just pay attention and feel the steering wheel and the seat while you're driving. And he was quiet after that. And he was quiet for some time. He said, Bhante, I'm feeling, I never felt this. It's like he was feeling this, said, I wish, Bhante, you are always with me here. You can tell me. So really, I was very happy, I was so happy. I mean, of course, these are small things. It's not a complicated thing. So these are the things that will energize your mind and slowly increase your practice, where when you're able to sustain like that, you can get more. Then you can investigate. Self-realization comes from self-investigation, application. These will be only words if you don't develop this mind. There will never be a realized experience. It will be in a kind of a dream form. So to make it practical, first these are steps Buddha gives how to strengthen the mind. This is called Iriyapate, where you're focusing on the bodily movement, whether you're going to the toilet, watching how you go to the toilet, not having all this daydreaming while you're doing that. And then when you're walking, now some people, they do it now. When they're in real crisis, they remember me. They think, maybe we try what Bhante said. And one from Milan, I remember one lady, I thought she should sit in the chair. The way because she practiced so much, she really mastered, like I have told how when you're going to catch the train, how to, think how you're going on a holiday. Now when you're not on a holiday, only you rush, now you're thinking we have to go to the office and then, or working place. So you note the compartments, but you remind yourself again to check your mental relaxedness, and then move your body. Don't forget, then see why I'm rushing, let me relax the tension. The office is not ready there, it's a far away thing. Why I worry about something now already, or working place? How am I going to deal with the boss, the work I have not done? Now this I face myself, my friends. If you worry, you will have a double, you could say a super crash with the situation. If you don't worry, miracles will happen. Now, I'm not telling this just for sake of saying. I have my personal experience when I had to hand over, some assignment. 2 years I worked. This was only experience. 1 week in Cyprus, also Nicosia. That's I want to be independent for my father. And I worked in this like a confectionery, so I thought better to study than work after that 1 week. Because all your muscles are this thing, I'm not used to, only that 1 week. And I bought pirikara and all this. That was my first salary I think I got. And then the other one was in, of course, an audit firm. And so, but I brought in the meditation into the work, my friends. If you don't if you don't replace that consciousness, work consciousness, office consciousness with the spiritual, peaceful consciousness, you'll have to come back to Birmingham again, or this London, England. But if you break the 5 precepts and work, you don't need visa also. You'll be a permanent resident here. You're born as a ghost. Okay. So, but say you practice, you kept those silas, you get this interest again. You have been here, these places. The same thing repeating. The consciousness get the same area to experience itself again. No, I wanted to ask a question somebody and then answer. You are the one who asked, no? Anyone else? Maybe we go to a question and then I will explain the cherry part of my discourse.
I have tried to watch my mind. My mind as it goes from one thing to another. It seems to be worrying all the time. I wonder why.
Okay. Just to notice that it's going is good enough. If you see it's not going, is problem. So you have already tried to notice. If you said it was not going, you would be lying. So you were telling the truth. You always see it's going. It's okay. But if you really pay attention, you'll also notice your breathing. Like, you're now looking at your thoughts, okay? It's going, what thought? You notice your inhaling and exhaling. Did you notice that? Not Anapanasati, nothing. I don't bring any of this information. Did you notice now when you're like paying attention to your thoughts, what are they going? Did you begin to notice?
When I'm in a rush.
Now you can try. Do you feel now? If you just try to pay attention to the thoughts. You see your lungs expanding and expanding, like you slightly feel the movement going. You're relaxing and just watching your thoughts. It is always happening, but we are normally not conscious. But naturally, you will notice, begin a point where you're noticing it is happening. You can see, like, because you are always taking breath in and out. You can see the feeling you're drawing in. Now you notice? Now you notice. This is important. You must develop that much as possible. Where you're coming to the point of coming to this moment. This is a sort of yardstick or kind of a idea of your attention has come to this moment. When you are now normally I'm talking this thing, doing this and that, watching even thoughts and all that. But we are not in the moment. When we are really in the moment now this is not also fully in the moment, but we are close to the moment in a very tangible way. You will be noticing yourself breathing. Now even when you're driving, when you're seated, when you're really relaxing, if you come to the point where you find you can notice your natural breathing process, you know you have come to a good standard of observation, awareness. These are basic, but you are tapping the energy mind when you are doing that. More you can notice and wait, more the mind goes to the energy part of your mind, not the stress part of your mind. More you are not noticing, you are in a more of unreal world. So unreal world means like a vampire. It sucks all your energy out. So it sucks all your mental energy out, and then you feel stressed out, and then you have a long face. That is a long face, for no reason. And so to overcome this long face, one has to. Any other question? I mean, it doesn't have to be in meditation as such. Something really bothers you in your office or work.
You mentioned about your guru, Sadhu. What was the most valuable thing you learned from him that has helped you in your life? So?
Yeah, I must say, it's very obvious. Many things, but I would say he's very example, many incidences. But the main thing I would say, he gave me the right GPS. The right GPS. Okay. That's what I'm also now in the end. I'm going to give you also that what I got. That you can't be tricked otherwise. In this corrupted day and age, even spiritual tricks are happening, so that you don't waste your time and you're reaching the goal of liberation, because you're having the right GPS. You know what GPS, right? Guru position system. Okay. So this is something. This is actually it's necessary. Otherwise, do you think this Bana now, the YouTube clips, this is your GPS, right? It's important. You can the YouTube, you can check now. This will be recorded, put to YouTube. I suggest you go through this particular clips very much, and I can guarantee that you will not be misled at all. You will find the right path, isn't it? Do you take that? Do you buy that, in other words? What I said? Yeah, I think I did explain all the thing. How do you know what I have achieved? Do you think I might be enlightened? Maybe my little shine is there, but that can be maybe I applied Nivea and came before coming here. We don't know, my friends. Now I'll come to this topic also immediately. Who knows what I have realized, what I have, any monk who is coming there, you'll meet so many. Of course, one thing is, you can idea if you want to, is the life, the action, not the talking part. How the person is living. Because a person who has realized something, he should be living that life. It can't be two things. Actions and talking, there should be some harmony seen. But that is also not the way to, so Buddha has told, before he passed away, that how much you hear there's a monk here who have attained some marga pala or something, or some, don't say yes, don't say no. But check what they have said with my Dhamma Vinaya. What I have spoken, you check whether they are telling the same thing. Check, even if you find one time, second time, third time check. And the third time if you don't find, think they have misunderstood. So another place he says, the Mahaparinirvana Sutta, the last advice he gives is very important, last period. Ananda, don't think that the Guru is no more, the master, that my teaching will be your master hereafter. So now this is a very important lesson today also, especially for us today, where we have so many types of people coming, teaching, preaching. I mean, we can't spend a lot of time. There's short time, so we must quickly get the right information and then practice it and realize it. So other thing is, we have sometimes just knowledge only, reading the suttas or Dhamma, It's also not like that. You must learn how to get the vision, how to meditate using the suttas. Now I demonstrated some things, how to see the anatta nature, the 5 elements, the hard nature here, and to get an idea. He shows certain places where you see, he makes you to understand how we conceptualize things. How when we take things apart, how the idea of self goes away. Idea of self comes from, wrong attention and not really seeing in parts. We are in parts, but we are put together. Do you have a scissor here? Have you got a scissor? Scissor, it's funny. It's funny, all the programs I'm going, there's a scissor somehow. I thought they specially arranged it for me. I'm going to be a barber now. So I'm now immediately going to a meditation and some interesting thing. Last part, sir. Let's see who I can take. Maybe this young man is there. Young gentleman? Your mother and father, they are here? Do I have permission to get some donation from him? Hair donation. It's okay? Okay, let them come. You can. Okay. Don't worry, I'll cut from somewhere where no one sees, only the crows will see. Okay. Yeah, you have a lot of hair, it's okay. That shows you have a lot of energy, Let's see. Don't worry. Okay. Now, just forget about these people around. Just get an idea. Do you feel this hair is you? This you, right? Mm-hmm. These glasses? Do you feel it's you? No. And this hair is you. Mm-hmm. So, what about this hair? How do you feel now? No. Not yours, eh? Or less you? Less of me, eh? Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you for your participation. He's also very honest, very easy to do with. Some people are very tough, they make all come. Okay. Look, you see. It was same as one which is in his head, But then he get the idea, this is me, this is my hair. But in few seconds it's taken away. Maybe you can have like a wig, put it back. Okay. And then because it's in this space, you get the idea. It's because in this space the concept comes. This is me, this is mine. So actually these scissors, there are times in the Buddha's time when monks, because their minds were so alert, so energized, when they were cutting, they got this vision. They became enlightened while the hair was cut. Now today also when we ordain, they tell you take the hair and all this chanting is done. This is as a meditation object. Simple, deeper truths of existence was known by that simple activity. So this, when it is in this space, you get the idea of self, my friends. And you can just see how you can't keep on. So the scissors should be your discrimination. So when you read some of these, Buddha helps you to apply to yourself and to take away the part by part. Now, for example, he says hardness here and the hardness here, for example, your teeth or something. That is a nature. Those days there was no idea of electrons and all that. Now, electron, that way is it's also correct, it's a more refined way. But he told in terms of nature and hard nature is same. The bone here hard and here hard is hardness. So when you take it as nature, you don't get this is my hardness. It's just a nature. And the fluid nature, with the blood that is flowing in you and the water that is flowing in the tap is same. So that needs certain tranquility to actually, this is the reality. You begin to see that this is just a nature and how this idea of self comes because of your lack of observation of that nature-wise. So that concept, that your mind is in ignorance, therefore the conceptualizing takes place. So if someone scolds you, you don't see a person there, nor a person being scolded. You're at peace. He might think you're mad, but it's okay. If you look mad in the society, you're enlightened. In the mad society, when you look mad, then only you're sane. Okay? So that's why suffering is. So this is how you have to take away this hall and everything. It is an idea. You get an idea. This is like with the bricks and all that. You take them apart. It's no more. Same way the body with its flesh and blood and bones you put together, you get the sense of self. You take it apart. So you take that apart. That's a meditation. Even with your children and your husband and wife. Now, normally children also, if something happens, they die and they are. Now, if they are reborn somewhere, if someone tells this is your old son, you would not want to have him. I mean, it's not nice to tell parents. When I used to tell my mother, "Can you imagine a Shahanaka without a picture of him?" I mean, it's not possible. And even if you bring that another boy somewhere born and tells, "This is your son, would you like to adopt or something?" No, you want that whole picture. So it's interesting how we get attached to a kind of so some monks who are old and they become monks old and they have left families, it's difficult for them to overcome some children. They can let go parents and all that. Or parents are dead already maybe, but wives and all that. But they can't let go children. So they tell me what meditation they do to overcome that. They do the practice of seeing how the body disintegrates in 9 days when it is disintegrating after, you don't sort of bury it, how the worms eat and so on. So they do like that. And that picture, that attachment to the picture goes away, and that inner thirst, that inner worry, fear also fades. It's a beautiful thing. I had a great-grandmother, who when one of his sons was dying and died then, she was called, she didn't go there. She was having a japamala and she had no tears. She has been just in front of the Buddha statue and just meditating. And she didn't go near him. And I heard that she used to tell my mother also very religious and she also meditates a lot, and tell my mother, "Mehemai duwe navasivike vadanne." This is how you practice the 9, stages of decomposing. How do you pronounce that? I now forget that. Decomposition, right? Okay. Long time I'm speaking English also. Now some words, yeah. So now it's like writing some, when you don't know the spellings, you write it tuck like that. Okay. So now when I'm speaking, I just make something I can't remember, because long period in Sri Lanka, I was like in a prison in Sri Lanka in a way, where in terms of expressing myself, because all my conditioning was in English. and then for when people happened to come, and I was not doing Bana and all that, but still it was in Sinhalese language mostly. And then it's a problem when I come here, I find I have to tell in Sinhalese. I don't know. But now I understand. I'm so happy, I had the complaint initially. I'm still thinking why I'm not giving this Dhamma to the local people. I come to England to give to English people, not to Sri Lankans. But there has to be a start. These are the people who have protected this. That's why they are the ones. Of course, I don't want to blow you too much. But I get that feeling. And I also see you all have a lot of suffering. So there I am really satisfied being here. So I really want to give you the real medicine of the Buddha's teaching. You must get, because we are satisfied with the culture part of it. Actually, we are so hypocritical, and I don't know, we have become so corrupt in a form. And we would be satisfied with not doing the self-restraint, the practices what the Buddha said. So I must quickly go to this. Now, when I told about the hard nature and this thing, this is their sutta. Now, Dhamma, Buddha explains. So they are the kamatahana you get. Now, I told the GPS, this is a signpost, the sutta. Now, the other problem is the Sinhalese translations. There's this problem also in this language. They have made the translation complicated. So to overcome that, the Kiribat Kuda Nyananda Hamdro and Nyadi Mahale, their translations, they have made it simpler. Maybe talking language, that we have those knowledge. Now it should be that way, but it should. Now I can't recommend a single one to do, because there are some suttas, they have sort of explained it by bracket. That should also not be done. It should be just a literal translation, simple. Because the thing is, you are trying to get the understanding from the words. A person who has realized, he knows the words are signpost. The understanding, if someone tried to explain, it shows he has not realized it. Meka තේරෙනවද මං කියපු කරුණ? තේරෙනවද දන්නේ නැහැ. මේක මහත්තයට තේරෙනවා ඇති. මහත්තයා තමයි මට දැන් දෙන්නෙක් හම්බුනේ මේ ට්‍රිප් එකේ. එක්කෙනෙක් ඔස්ට්‍රේලියාවල, අනිත් එක්කෙනා මේ මහත්තයා. මේ මොනවාවත් ඒ කියන්නේ ඒගොල්ලන් බ්‍රේන් එක හොඳට නිකන් ෂාප් වැඩ කරනවා, ටක් ටක් පට් ඩිප් බික් කරනවා මේ නිකන් මේ දැන් මේ අර YouTube එකට දාපු විදිය මට තේරුණා. ඒ දාපු ටයිටල් එක බලන්න. ඒකට ගැලපෙන I don't want to tell in front of you, but I just want to tell whole Sri Lanka about this. Really, we need people of this caliber, Not that I mean, even to be little, I don't know how, maybe we can't say we are born vegetables, No, I think we should rise up now. We should rise up, my friends. We should be alert. We should be good in the worldly work also. And then, of course, that's not the only life. That is the lower life, actually. We must really make sure self-realization comes quickly, and we can contribute something to this world in this dark period. If you do something, it's a big thing today. So applying this is very important. The old way is called Paryapti, Pratipatti, Prativeda. Paryapti means to study in the map, and Pratipatti means practicing that. Prativeda means when you practice, you get the insight. This is the way how it goes. So now these suttas are very interesting. Now sometimes we go to Abhidharma and all that. We like that because it explains a lot. And now the problem is I have no deep knowledge about Abhidharma, because I don't need to have. Sutta was very well recorded as the original words. Even scholars know very well. So not through scholarship, if you practice, you will know there's no question about it. Buddha is alive there. Other things are questionable. Because I don't know, but I don't want to talk without an experience in that, and I don't need to have an experience. But with the suttas, it's your real GPS. Now to have it as a knowledge also is not the right way. Just to have a lot of bundles of maps is not meaningful. If you're going on a treasure hunt and really making a move, this is helpful. So these are like signposts actually. You take now, he explains in a very plain way. Now people who can understand in English very much, the translations are no problem. You have Word of the Buddha by Jnanatiloka Mahatera. This is like a small handy book which made my teacher from a yogi, Hindu yogi, to a Buddhist during the Second World War time when they were interned in Dehradun. So this is something I recommend. This is like a very, I also have it in my, so you have under the Four Noble Truths taken from the suttas, highlighting those points from the very words of the master. And the main concepts about anatta, about the conditionality, like this. So that you can, it could be a handy book all the way, beginning and to the end. The other ones I recommend Middle and Discourse, because Majjhima Nikaya. Now, the one or two suttas, now actually there are 2 pages or 1 page sometimes. So don't think it's a bulk, you can even turn from anywhere and then you can read from there. It's not like a novel that follows, because ancient monks, they compiled it under certain sections. So there was just this one sutta, means an encounter with the Buddha, and it's recorded. And that one verse can trigger that insight. So you have to learn to read it now, Satipatthana Sutra or whatever, you read it and apply it to yourself. So now in the end I'm going to do just a small part, a small demonstration of it. But I hope you can purchase these books and keep it at your bedside or somewhere. Read a bit, apply, relax. And you already learned to relax now by driving without getting tension. So all the background is created, not seeing what is unnecessary. Now the other practice is the Indriya Samvara, where you don't see what is unnecessary, like with the senses. This is also important, which will reduce your monkey mind. Say you are crossing the road, you see the vehicles going, but you don't have to see who is inside the vehicle. So then if you're like passing a crowd, you see people, but you don't recognize who they are. Now you can look at my eyes, I am focused, right? Now how do I look? Do I look focused? You can see my eyes? Or no focus? Now, do I look focused? Now, no focus, right? This you have to practice. So, but this is easy to say, but you learn not to take, like you screen what you get into your senses. Then it will register less and your monkey mind will be less. This is it's also Sila, it is called, Indriya Samvara Sila. They say monks observe crores of Sila. When they practice this is called Kotiyak Samvara Sila. Bhikshun Vansala practice. Yogi Urvika. Bhikshun Vansala Kwameta, it is Yoga Vacharyo. Miss Nimana Pashekar Puttame. This is one. Then other one is Iryapate. That involves how you walk without feeling stressed out. That means you're paying attention to your body. Breathing. You're noticing your functions of the body. You're stepping, you're feeling the steps. So you're paying attention, then you gather energy also. Get to Samadhi. Other one is Bhojana Matanyo. Bhojana Matanyo means restraint of eating. Food is a big drainage of energy. So now in India I tell, if you take non-veg food, it's like you commit murder there. Because they stick to that rule so much, vegetarian is like a very sacred thing for them. So I tell them sometimes, chutney is more damaging than non-veg. You get the point? Tasting. So in our case, it is lunumiris. We take lunumiris. It is so much, it's creating so much sensation with the tongue. 2 things, my friend, if you don't control, nothing happens. Now this old form. I always tell the tongue and the sexual organ, they look same. Red with nerves. That's why so many rules are given to control this. So now this part I explained already very much, I don't want to go into it very much. So these two, so food also very important. So now normally I say if you have a tasty food everywhere, like all this delicious food they have made, I call this like you have gone to a nightclub. Simple. You have to see it if you're a meditator, you will notice this. You eat plain food, don't stimulate with spices. And also what is this? Lunumiris, lunu ambul, yeah? what is this? Salt and Lunude, sorry, correct. These are the sharp feelings that you get. And they sharpen the other things also. Like you feel very real, the sensual things. Now in Australia, they really practice this, And I found that because they have to practice with me, of course, because I am not coming to sort of lullaby, what is it? What do you call it? Nalavanda Mega commando gamanak. I told you my face did, I'm still on that practice. After here, I hope I can go back to those areas and do more practice, remembering you all also. For your sake that I could practice more. So they practice that. It's funny, they so when they practicing, one lady, she came, I remember, she told Bante she want to pay respects because she has heard the program through the husband keeping the cell phone thing. But there she was getting some effect. And she was facing a lot of, like hypertension, this, that, some, I don't know, name she gave. She suddenly felt some coolness for the first time. And then she came, of course, and then said, so Bante, I want to meet you, pay my respects. I said, okay. And then she said, I had, what is this? Now also my, supervisor is, he's coming today and he'll be taking, normally when he's coming like that, I have gastritis and all these things. But now I don't have, Venerable Sir. I was so happy. The simple practices, you cut away, you become brave enough to cut that feeling. So when this, now I used to tell them how to eat without tasting the food, keep the tongue away. Now these are in those day program I did in Australia. But what happens then, when you are cutting away, because this food, look at the food is like muck, When it's touching your tongue, it creates the consciousness, tongue consciousness. There you notice this is chocolate, this is something. This is perception, this is cognizing. When that food is munched and that it's not no more, the consciousness doesn't arise. So you have to eat something else again to touch, and then it happens. So you see the conditionality of it. So you see, this consciousness is disappeared. Like you make a fire, when you click and then it burning, the fire is seen. When it's finished burning, you have to put another stick. So same way, it's disappeared. You can't say where it disappeared. It doesn't exist there. Same way you have consciousness coming, it doesn't exist. You notice it when you are not munching that type of food, how you're not getting the feeling. But meanwhile, you have to really pay attention the muck part of your food. Then only you separate the consciousness and you're not with it, and you see plainly what is really going on. When you separate like that, your attachment to the other objects in the sensual world is seen as unreal. That is, maybe it's your children especially, or husband, wife. You see that is a relative idea, which arises there and then. Like a dog looking into a well, when he's outside, he thinks that there's another dog. There's no really another dog. It's a reflection there. Do you get this? This is also very important. I don't know, I'm interested now. My mind is going into that detail of this will create a lot of peace. Because you begin to notice a nightmare as nightmare, and to be knowing that is a nightmare and a dream, and to be there is no more a nightmare. Being a nightmare and to not to know and feel is real is a very big problem. And then you don't take seriously any situations happening in your life. You separate. Because of wisdom. Wisdom is the one that separates this so much. Without that wisdom, so sometimes you have that energy mind I call, resting, relaxing, that also separates. But that doesn't separate as much as when you get the true knowledge of what you're experiencing. Now we are coming closer to self-realization by this. Where are we? Who is this Jnana Loka? You see the hair that, of course I have no hair now. Okay. You see what? So you begin to know, and the main bliss, happiness is knowing how the self arises. It's an idea. There's no, actually there's, the self arises with associating certain things, and you begin to know that it's just an idea. It's a concept. It has no, so if normally when you have in samadhi or upeksha, tranquility, you feel the body is not yourself, but you feel that feeling of equanimity, upeksha, as self. Mama කියලා හිතනවා. ඒ සනීපයට. ඒකයි ඒකුණත් දකින්නකොට is a state of consciousness, experience, a feeling. If you happen to know, you see that it's a subtle feeling, subtle sense of I. That's why with knowledge, more investigation, that is just also rising and passing away. Like that experience of putting food into your mouth. What was the food for that peacefulness to come? Sila. So if you start to break Sila, you will not have it. If you start to maintain Sila, you will have that peacefulness. So that is also condition. You have to keep on doing that. So when you begin to know that all this is condition and it's arising, that what you are experiencing, you feel it as self, and there you don't really get hold on to sort of a ego. But this is it's a final way to go. ඔය එක නම් වටිනවනේ. මට ඒ ෆ්ලෝ එක එන්නේ නැති වෙන්නේ. මන්ට ආයි පොඩක් නිවන පැත්තට යන්න ගියා ඒක. හොඳයි. Can you may be good, you know? Don't know whether you're can you explain that part, how you understood Sinhala?
අපි ආහාරයක් ගන්නකොට ඒ දැනෙන රස සංවේදනය ඒ ආහාරයේ දිවේ ස්පර්ශය වෙනකන් තමයි ඒක තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට අපිට යම් සැපයක් දැනෙනවා නම් අපි පොඩ්ඩක් ඒ සැපයට ඇලෙන්නේ නැතුව චුට්ටක් බලන්න ඕනේ ඒ ආහාරය නිසා තමයි මේ රස සංවේදනය හපලා ඒ කටේ තියෙන මේක නිසා තමයි මේ රස සංවේදනය තියෙන්නේ කියන එක අපි ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් බලන්න ඕනේ. ඒ වගේ මේක අපි දැකිය නොයුතු දේවල් avoid කරලා අපේ මේ sensual pleasures avoid කිරීම practice කරන එක තුලින් අපිට යම් සැපක් දැනෙනවා නම් අපි කියන්නේ ජීවිතේට මොකක් හරි අර peacefulness එකක් දැනෙනවා නම් අපි ඒකත් පොඩ්ඩක් contemplate කරන්න ඕනේ මේ සීලේ නිසා තමයි මේ peacefulness එක අපේ එන්නේ. නැත්තම්
ඒ peacefulness එකත් මේ ඇත්තටම ආහාරයක් ලැබෙනවා ඒකට. ඒකට ආහාරය තමයි සීලය. ඒම සංවර වෙච්ච හින්දා. එතකොට මෙතන පේන්නේ Tamanට පේනවා මේ ඔක්කොම මේ කොහමද? ඒතකොට මම කියන අදහස එන්නේ නැහැ හිස් තැනකට. ඒකත් අර මම අල්ල ගන්නත් ඕනේ මෙතන. කොහෙද මේ මම ඉන්නේ කියලා. එතකොට මේ දිවට තැර වෙනකල් තමයි අර මම අදහස එන්නේ ඒ ෆීලිංගස් වලට. එතකොට දැන් ඒ තැරවිලා නැතුව ගියාම ඒ නැති වෙච්ච එකට මම කියලා හිතෙන්නේ නැහනේ. අර එතකොට ඒක දකින්නනේ. එතකොට ඒක ඇත්තටම මේක කැඩෙනකොට ලොකු දෙයක් වෙනවා. මේක පේනකොට කයම ගැන පංචේන්ද්‍රියම තේරෙන්න පටන් ගන්නවා. තමන්ගේ බැඳීම ළමයින්ට නෝනට මහත්තයාට ඒවත් දකින්නවා මේවා ඇත්ත ඒවා නෙමේ ඉලූෂන්ස් කියලා. මිරුඟු වගේ දේවල් කියලා. අර ඒක එහෙම සෙපරේට් වෙනකොට මේ අර එහෙම මේ එතකොට තමන්ට අර බර නැති වෙනවා පින්වතුනි. ඒ බරක් නැති වෙනවා. තමන් ඒගොල්ලන් අතර ඉන්නවා. හැබැයි අර ඒවා වැඩි ඔලුවට ගන්න යන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද ඒක තමන්ගේ අර මුලාව ඇතුලේ මොලේ අර අනවබෝධ වෙච්ච මොලේ අවදි වෙලා තියෙනවා පොඩ්ඩක් දැන් මේ විදිහට අවබෝධයට කල්පනා කරන හින්දා.
Then you don't feel that you are selfish.
Sorry?
You're concerned about anybody.
Yes.
Even if I love somebody or if I concern somebody,
Yeah.
I'm worried.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then you are restless.
Mm-hmm.
That whole life is going through that pathway.
Yes, yes.
Then how can we get out from that? worry and
Yeah.
restless?
You will be more serving that person more better without the negative part of it. Even if you worry, you're not going to solve the problem of another person. Worry, okay, that will drive you to be more concerned. But that will not guarantee you are going to really solve the problem. But if you are not worried, you will be more efficient. You will have more energy to perform that duty. You will be a person who performs duties to people. And that way, and also you set an example to that person how to come out of this, to teach someone to be self-realized, to know, to be undisturbed by difficult situations. It's the biggest gift you can give to the world. But that you can't give by preaching and teaching. Is when you have experienced such a state and then you're demonstrating that will be a big light to the people. So I know what you mean, like if you don't have, you take all the selfish parts away and damaging parts away. Now for example, I have my personal sometimes situations where I meet certain people. Maybe I met them before and all that, but now I'm happy. I'm not taking any there's no selfish motive in that connection. And I'm happy that I'm helping them to be also self-realized, rather than, if I made use of them for my personal something. For example, if I met without this type of mindset and this understanding, this is only just a selfish experience. Now once I remember, I had a grandmother, great-grandma, and one of my cousins, actually he was a pilot. He couldn't join the Air Lanka, and so he joined this our Air Force just to have flying hours. So he was taking 60 or 90 commandos. It's well known, this thing, and he was the second pilot, and it disappeared. Now my grandmother couldn't make up her mind. She actually suddenly had never seen the Aranya. So it's a long story. I'll just tell. Then I came to. Now there's another interesting thing. When I came home, now one part of my relations, they were so materialistic. They were really worried about my life. They were wondering, what is his future? Why this young man? I was then young, not like now. So that I didn't know that time, because when I came from South Africa, wherever my cousins they are going, they take me, I also go. Later I realized I don't have to go. Why should I? And so that time, but I didn't go and dance or anything. I used to meditate. One place I danced just to show my cousins that I'm not a nerd. And this girl got really, this thing, while dancing I said, all this is Dharma. And she thought, who is this weird person? And she was waiting to slowly go and sit down somewhere, and it happened like that. And I just continued the whole night until 4 o'clock. So this was my beginning period. Then I got to know that, that you don't have to. So at this age, I was, it's a bit, it looks odd sometimes. It doesn't look. So anyway, some of my relations were really, now they're crying, and of course long time ago they changed, they got convinced. Even my father was really not sure whether this will continue, with this passing. So what happened, then when this happened, now they were all waiting for me. They were wondering, with this meditating relation, how is he taking up? Because now they were all feeling the suffering. Now they may be advisors to this and that. They were holding big positions in the country, but they just can't bear, reality. And I was just a boy, and of course they were trying to control also. My parents are also very simple, and these relations, they were trying to, my God, this is recorded, isn't it? Yes. No, don't edit. I have told this not to edit. Just put as it is. It's a problem now. That's the problem of my relations. They had to face with a monk now in public. Yes, I relate to my personal life. Anyway, this is true also. Because even my grandfather, all these people, my parents are actually that's why I was born there, I guess. There's some special genes in them. That's why I think in Sri Lanka there are families who can bring certain babies. And this is great people, I would say. I'm now thinking about them. So this was the situation. But so my grandma, they were all okay. But now when they faced this crisis, this situation, they were all waiting to see how Shanaka is going to take up. So I went straight. I'm answering you in the wrong way, but I came to my room. I could see everybody there. And I just went to my room. I want to be with myself. Only my mother came in. I relaxed. And this suffering is going to come to me also, if I think the wrong way. But I remembered the training I went through when I was in the forest with my teacher. Just I came from the forest. How to see how the ear is not you, and how the objects are not you. If it is you, it should bring good news. Why is it bringing bad news? And then how to, when I was applying those things, the meditation Buddha explains how the ear, to watch the ear and to see how it's really you or not you. Now these are simple exercises, but when I was doing that, I was really feeling like another ear. Now someone may think I'm insensitive. Am I right? They're sensitive or insensitive, right? Yeah. But then my mother saw me, I was becoming tranquil, and she saw me, and she's also suffering, and she knows that we were like more than my brother, we were more close. And then she worshipped, of course. Those days I was not a monk. So then even the relations, they begin to get this faith in that. Then you realize there's something, that our relation, what he's doing. So this is one place. They were encouraged, and even now they would remember how I was in parties, taking like meditation. I was in parties, but I was, the mental peace was working in me, and slow motion taking. And then my later on, but my grandmother was not, I was not able to make up her mind. She was like, she was sort of waning away, and this was bothering her so much. She couldn't make up her mind. Actually, she stopped even lighting the lamp for a few days, thinking Buddha is like a god. Just imagine, why I pray so much and why this suffering? So I also had no way to console her. One day I got the way. One day I met her and I told Achi, when Sia died, well, you managed to make up your mind, there's no problem. But this Malli, you feel so, we call him Malli, right? That cousin. Malli, you can't make up, yeah, I know. Yeah, and you told that time Sia, when Sia died, that because of the Dharma and her detachment, and she could, but Malli is a faraway relation, not a close person. Without Sia, you don't get Malli also. Right? Sia, then this is, so why this faraway person you feel so attached? She didn't say anything. Then I said, yes, Sia is to always scold you every evening. He used to take little whiskey, and and she had to just sit down there and she would have been waiting for the day when Sia is going to die. Because my grandfather was known like he was like a Hitler, he was like very dominating, but he's a principled person. Anyway, he was like, so the feelings you get from the husband, also the feelings you are getting, painful feelings. So you detest that. So then now this cousin of mine, he makes anything, some repair, if something happens, pays the bills. She was like a handy person for my grandmother. He was sitting upstairs. So now the good feelings that was got from my cousin, she was not getting, she was missing that. So she's attached to what? For her feelings, not to persons. So you can see the selfishness of it. But when I explained to her, she got some peace. She got to know how this is happening, because, well, I am really not concerned about the grandson or anyone like that. It is my own personal self-interest. I got along, but my answers are like that sometimes. I relate to what really happened. And so I told you my greatest gift from my teacher was what? Mainly, I have many, but the main thing was he's giving me the right GPS. So what do you mean by GPS? Do you know now what it is? What is that? Sorry? Yeah, I know that is right, but what is that? What is now you remember that very well. Guru position system, right? Not that, I mean like which one, what is your GPS? My YouTube clips? Is it the YouTube clips of Buddha's teaching? Yeah, original teachings, the translation. So you have to, this is, I really wish you that you can keep, not wish you, this is the way. Keep the books, and then there are times where Buddha explains about 4 elements, applied to that. And the other way, you have other things to clear, like anything addictive. You will begin to, it takes time to digest all this, lot of material given. I given for all stages of things to come out of this sort of muck. Some might not see it, it's like a muck, it's like, I rather stay in the muck than, I have very interesting. I find some places like old time, like some ghost haunted places. They are old judges. They are occupying that building. And to see they don't want to get the merit, they don't want to get liberated from that condition. Just imagine, it's so interesting how you just, you got so attached to that house and dwelling. It was a British time, this judge, and they are there. Like that, there was a situation where one was able to know that who are there in this ghost. To see this one of the judge, at the time then he was occupying this house and now he's still there. So that house is also like, anyone going there is like making it, and they're not developing anything, they can't build up anything. Because he's so attached to that old structure, he's not allowing. He's telling them when the bars come, he gets some feeling he doesn't want to go. He don't care about money or anything. So just imagine, this now this is what happens if actually we don't see the gravity. I have no time further to explain how just being distracted by your children, your family, and any other thing you get attached to. So that's why if you don't master this enough, you don't get distracted by these things, you can't have a guarantee even how many katina pinkamas you have done, how many danas you have given. I don't think so, my friend. I mean, that karma will follow you. You might be born in a rich family, or a rich family might look after you. Like we have Pomeranian and all these, dogs that are looked after by so well. That karma, you can see how it comes. Because you get angry. That's the interesting thing. What takes you to a lower world is greed, anger. That they have the distracting thoughts. You are not able to control your moment of death. So that's the main yardstick of development, is where you are not reacting with anger or greed. So that needs the faculty Saddha, Sati, Samadhi, Panya, Virya, that they are daily nourished and practiced. So reading is one part. Applying it, then without stress how you move your body and do your activities, this is another part. Sense restraint, another part. Then daily absorbing that fully energy, getting that tranquility in a high dosage. Morning time, like you wash your, then maintaining that mental tranquility while driving, doing other work. Now I notice, I don't know, maybe some of your meetings, now they look little handsome also, I don't know. Something bit different. I noticed that. Sometimes, but we must know that suddenly you will be put into, devil will be behind you, but the other way, don't get upset when you're again going to some temptation or, but don't worry, now this thing is broken. So, but sometimes you must have patience, suddenly you feel you're out of control again, but don't worry. Okay, you take me. I know my path now, you can tell him. So my friends, now we are going to slowly stop. Okay. The last I want to do a certain meditation, just 5 minutes. And very interested, no? When I say meditation, you all are moving. All this time were you not in meditation? Okay, this is, I think, I hope next time you get to know how to stay, even listen to the Bana without, relaxed way, without, feeling, so that you are doing this. You're relaxingly listening to somebody. You're relaxingly taking your food. Watching that, so you're enjoying a certain degree of, that is your comfort. So anyway, doesn't matter. So we touched some points today, interesting in a way. It's going. Yesterday, it's a huge crowd, but today I'm got some more interesting side of points. I hope, I had to just naturally, I like to come to this topic a lot slowly to make you have this vipassana in your mind. So that I normally tell one how to relax the body, but I don't do this now today. But just when you're can you notice the sound, immediately the sounds that you're going through? I know when you are young also, when trying to be quiet, it's not easy. Suddenly it makes all sort of just pay attention to what you're hearing immediately now. Don't go to meditation like you're going to the gallows. Just relax the body and pay attention to the sounds you're immediately hearing. It's so silent, you don't hear, oh, you're coughing. Again coughing. Just note the cough sound. Another coughing. Accept the sound and notice it. When you're naturally noticing, relaxing, you're not wishing to have no sound, you're only trying to hear properly. Just pay attention to what you immediately hear. When you're relaxing and paying attention like that, as I told you before, you'll be noticing naturally that you're breathing in and out, the lungs expanding, especially when you're trying to get the breath, inhalation, because that is very obvious, right? When all the breath goes out, you just draw in air. When you naturally notice, you're inside. And then you picture yourself how you're seated, how your body is covered by jerseys or jackets or t-shirt. In my case, a robe. And how you're seated, like you're looking from outside. And when you're watching like that, you can also say, Rupam Bhikkhave. Now, if you're reading one day those books, now I'm telling in Pali, it may be English or Sinhalese, just apply what you're reading to what you're watching yourself. Buddha says, Rupam Bhikkhave Anatta. The body is not yourself. He's telling like this. Why is it not yourself? He questions you. Abadaya is subjected to affliction. Sangvatteya labbeta cha rupe. You can't order the body. Evam me rupang hotu. Evam me rupang ma ahositi. May the body be like this, may the body not be like that. Like if it is got old, it is afflicted. If it has sickness, it's afflicted. If it has to face death, it is afflicted. These things are bound to happen. And you can't order, may this not happen, and may this happen. When you have no control, you just picture your own body that is now seated. Is this not the reality? You question actually, silently. You might notice, really, if I can't do like that, this is not me. When you get this noticing of that is not you, like another body, how peaceful it is. Eva metang yata bhutang. This you see with more tranquility and clarity. Nibbindati, viracchati, nirodeti, nibbananti. You will turn away from this body. You will turn away from these feelings, perceptions. Nibbindati, viracchati. if you have proper knowledge, awareness, there's no question of letting go. And when you let go like that, you are first time experiencing what is beyond body, beyond consciousness. That is Nibbana. Itin etang santang etam panitang sabba sankhara samato patinisago tannakkayo virago nirodho nibbananti. How peaceful it is. All the formations come into an end, come into a stillness. Sankhara parama dukkha nibbanang paramang sukham. The sankharas are suffering, existence is suffering. Nibbana is highest peace. When you do like that, this peacefulness, you spread it. May all the people in this hall, may they experience that. You picture them. Like you're going in a helicopter, all in the neighborhood, Birmingham, England, then Great Britain, Ireland, all human beings in different places. May they get this peacefulness. Then Europe, Africa, Mediterranean, North America, South America, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Syria, Russia, China, India. Like you're looking from outside Australia, this whole planet, these human beings, may they get this peacefulness, this happiness. Not only human beings, animal world, spirit worlds, Vetarani, Paduma, Avichya, from the lowest worlds to the highest worlds. The angelic worlds, Chatumaharajika Tavatimsa Tusita. Now they don't have too much greed, hate and delusion. May it completely disappear in them. May they get Nibbana. Brahma Purohita Brahma Parisajja Maha Brahman Vehappala Abhasara Akanita Brahma Loka Ne Sanya Na Sanya. Those lokas don't have greed, hate, but there is delusion, sense of I, ego. When that weight of I-ness is also disappeared, when they have seen the conceptualizing completely, like the Arahants, may that happen to all of them. Like you're picturing from the space, all these realms of existence, from the lowest to the highest, may they experience this peacefulness. Human world, animal world, lower worlds, Devaloka, Brahmaloka, the highest worlds. You can do this practice. I'm going to give you certain blessings. So after these blessings, please try not to talk. Some energy from, you could say, samadhi, or so this is coming from actually the mountains who have lived a solitary saintly life, Himalayas. So those people who are living a life of meditation, so this, if you want to get the full blessings, it's good to be silent like them, how they spent, at least until tomorrow morning. You can take dinner or whatever, just keep that energy in your brain. If you talk a lot or do something too much, the energy will go back from where it came. So if it kept, you will get something more for your life, for your future. And you can take some food, dinner, relax, night, do, if you have time like meditation, okay. Morning you can talk. Anyone have any particular difficulty that you want me to give me some special, something I will think about y'all? Anybody? You can slightly raise your hand. a good note. Something you feel මහා කරුණා ගුණය උත්තමයන් වහන්සේලාගේ මහා බල ශක්තිය සදෙව්ලුව පෙරපින් මතු කරන් ආපු උත්තම ශක්තිය ඔබත් ඒවා දුකින් මිදෙත්වා ඉවන්සුල්